Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Barclays Center in Boston, as of right now, the Celtics have a first-round pick. They will have the final selection in round one, and will also pick in the second.
Dubba-dubba-doo, everybody. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tires Studios, 617-779-0985. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. That is what you do. It is probably a very difficult time for many of the people out there that are up this early. As I have not stated recently, but this is if you're up listening right now, if this is a podcast and you're listening to the podcast, bless you for listening to the podcast, but you don't count in this one. This is for the people that are active
They don't
live.
count?
Not
Fred.
on what I'm about to say. Don't fret. I'm getting somewhere. Is that I always felt that we were, that those of us who have to get up this early are part of the same team. I thought that we could make a utopia on the roads, which is not so much a problem now that I'm going to Waltham every day than when I was going to Dorchester, when the utopia would involve crackheads not banging on the hood of my car literally 3 mornings a week.
Do you think it was still crack? Or do you think it could have been some other substance?
Crack.
Still with the crack cocaine.
Yeah. Because I don't know the prevalence of meth around here, but it was definitely not a heroin situation for sure.
Okay.
It was a desperate, aggressive zombieing type of zombie, like an aggressive zombie, like not heroin, not like a not out nervousy, like hey, help me out.
Right. More like a possessed, frenetic type of
Yeah,
I get it.
If it was like one, I would think it was like, I could even think it was salvia if it was like one time. Like that's how crazed they were. And I that's what was funny about it
What's
is
salvia?
the synthetic weed that made what's his face freak out,
Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah, strip naked and talk about dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, people that like eat faces.
Yeah. Bath salts.
We'll say it's kind of the same situation.
Yeah.
So, but I always wondered because it was a man and a woman. I hope they were married because they were quite a team. And the man was there a couple times a week. The woman was there more consistently, but she would put her hands in her shirt, like so her arms would be in her sleeve. It would look like she had no arms, but she did have arms but they were like in her shirt. And she would stick her arms out of the bottom of her shirt and slam the hood of the car. And I always wondered, like, okay, say I give her money, how is that going to satisfy what she needs?
Maybe it was like seed money for an IRA or some type of long-term.
IRA, there's tax consequences. You're going to have to be able to document that money. You can't just put cash in there.
What about a CD? What about a certificate of deposit?
I think same difference.
Very safe.
I think that there's
T-bills.
Even more safe.
I think all of these things are monitored by the government. I'm almost positive.
Well, I'm fresh out of ideas. I don't know.
So I just don't know where at 5 a.m. you're going like immediately to satisfy. Like, say I gave her $5. Like, where are you going with that $5 immediately to satisfy your craving, like your desperate need for drugs? Like, would $5 get her enough? And if she had the $5,
but 5 from you and 5 from somebody else and 5 from 2 other people, now you got 20. And if you show up at $20, that drug dealers keep the very convenient hours.
That's like a crappy job.
A drug dealer?
No, not necessarily, but a drug dealer that's taking $20 at 5:30 in the morning. Like from like super cracked out like homeless person.
I think it's still listed as a growth industry. I mean, you could complain about the hours for sure, but there's room for advancement. You can still do very well.
I don't know. I'd rather take the shot at getting real jail time and move big weight if I knew I could sleep past 5:30 in the morning to get $20.
Do you get these reels on your feed of people who find kilos of cocaine?
No, I do not. They must know something about it.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's invaded your timeline?
That is somehow part of my algorithm now because I think I watched one of them in its entirety, and then the AI says, "Oh, let's send him all of the people finding kilos and container ship videos." And I have determined that 90% of them are fake.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But it is this weird type of, internet porn that is not pornography. It's not sexual pornography. And there are many, many different versions of internet porn out there. And one of them is people finding kilos of cocaine.
So
it's its own little section. And I bet there are even like people who put these videos together. It's like, all right, we haven't done a found one in the forest video in a while. Let's do that. We've done like 2 water ones in a row. We gotta. What about the beach? That counts as water.
Some poor
dude.
guy's fishing in a stream and trips over something. Goes, oh,
yeah. It's like, look what my buddy just found. It's like, no, we got to go to the woods for this next one.
All right. So what is the thing? Like they're gonna do all the coke, or that they're gonna sell the coke?
You never get that far. You just stumble onto it. Now, some of them do have a comedic ending where the guy's face is covered in powder. It's like, I'm going to turn this into the authorities. But I don't believe any of them. And if that's the case, if even a half of them are true, I'm going to spend a lot more time just beach combing and
Well,
kicking rocks over in the woods because apparently there are kilos of cocaine everywhere.
Well, what I would do is film myself and put it on the internet,
Right.
finding some drug dealer's kilo of cocaine and then bragging about it.
Right, with the markings on the package, all of that.
Well, I think they're
absolutely.
going to be aware of where the cocaine was lost.
I recognize that location.
Yeah.
Let's go find that guy.
Yeah, that works out beautifully for everyone. So I just let everyone know. Like that's if I found a kilo of cocaine, you know what I would do? Not touch it.
Yeah.
I would walk as far away. It's going to do me no good. I don't want to do it. At no point would I want to do it. And then I certainly don't want to move it. And I'm not turning it into the authorities. I don't even feel a moral obligation. I really don't. Like, I feel no moral obligation to turn that drug in. If people want to do cocaine, let them do cocaine. I really don't care.
What about you don't feel some moral obligation to stop another cocaine bear from happening? Because that was a bad
I had
situation.
a female over one time, and we rented Cocaine Bear.
There are
So I
like
always remember it fondly.
there's two legitimate funny moments I can remember in that, or I
I don't
think
remember
I
any of it because I was getting down.
Attaboy.
To Cocaine Bear.
Attaboy.
I don't know. I didn't know what else to do. It was a
Wait.
It was a late night situation.
Why don't you talk to the lady? Why don't you
bored?
romance her a little
You
bit?
got bored. You were just like, what am I doing here with this movie?
You don't know what else to do. Why don't you have a conversation about?
I didn't
her
know what else to
dreams?
rent. I should have said.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know what else to rent. It was.
You painted a different picture there.
We should do a list of different types of internet porn that is not pornography.
Oh, that'd be not a bad summer bit.
That's a good summer bit. And we each come up with like a few things because I've got two in the hopper right now. In addition to the finding cocaine in the water in the woods, I have two other things that I have gone down the rabbit hole of, watching video after video after video of these things.
When you're talking, I'm thinking about the non-moral obligation to do anything with the cocaine. Is that the one argument someone could make is like, what if kids found the cocaine? And my argument would be, if my kids found the cocaine, they would leave it. They wouldn't touch it. I know for a fact they wouldn't. As much of a fact as I can. If your kids are running across the only thing stopping them from doing a boatload of cocaine is finding the kilo in the woods, then they were going to do cocaine anyway.
Well, this is on brand for you that you don't feel compelled to do anything beyond the bare minimum. So even placing a phone call to the proper authorities about a kilo of cocaine found, you wouldn't even do that. No, why would I?
Yeah, I think that you really would call the police. I think that you would.
If I found
because you could play like Detective Hardy, Detective Pool.
I found what I
He's a
think.
Hardy boy.
Like he does, like he plays like lawn maintenance pool or like construction worker pool.
So
this could be Detective Pool.
I found what I think was a shell casing when I was walking the dog one day, and I brought it back to the house, and I sent pictures to my buddy who's a cop
Jesus, Hardy.
of the shell casing, like on the end of a pencil. And then I found a piece of cardboard, and I stuck it in the
CSI.
cardboard.
He holds it
and
up.
with a Post-it note with the date and all this stuff written on it. And he just texted me back like the eye rolling
Did
emoji.
you put it next to the little
Like,
ruler? You see that sometimes in pictures.
Oh
a little
no!
ruler.
Damn it! I should have done the ruler. That would have been funny too.
Funny in that Hardy was like, you know what? I'm going to crack the case.
Well,
He-
yeah,
The Hardy Boys.
I may not, but I tell you who won't is you, because you're just gonna walk by and like, got nothing to do with me. Ba-do-do-do. That's you, Fred.
Dan, that is me. That's an excellent. You should start. That's like your Doris Burke thing. Dan, go ahead.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to call and say that it has been the greatest honor of my life, aside from that college threesome, to be an early morning caller into your show. I just have 3 words I want to say. I really love you guys so much, and I just wanted you to know that I'm getting emotional, and I love you. I don't know where we go from here. Maybe I'll just call in tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, Sean, that's the way it goes, buddy. That's my Cedric Maxwell. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it.
Sometimes Sometimes it just happens, but congratulations to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Talk about the team that just won the NBA championship, Sean. That's what you should be doing right now. Congratulating them. I have to pee.
That's why Cedric said he had to pee, because he knew Sean was about to embarrass himself.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about trying to head him off at the pass. That's a good point.
Yeah, because, when people dump on me, I don't like it very much, and I've been dumping on Grandy pretty good, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, there's no one who thinks I'm wrong. Like, there's no one who thinks I'm wrong. There's no one who thinks that's a good idea. It's almost like doing him a favor. I know when I make a mistake, most of the time. I'll admit it sometimes. Sometimes. I don't know. I'm better at admitting it now.
You just talked yourself out of it in like 6 seconds.
Great.
I did the right thing.
about 7
I really
seconds.
did the right thing. Except I know when the wrong thing once I'm already doing it. Nah, I don't even know then. Never mind.
We're not doing it.
No, I was saying if someone calls me out, like if I could admit to myself that I had done something that I made a mistake.
you do a fair amount of pushing back on that.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Makes you. I mean, look, the conflict, the combativeness, gives
That's
you a
true.
little fire.
edge, little edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I got that edge, yeah, baby.
Before you went all straight edge.
Oh, but not the full way. I still I do zins. All right, very good. What's up? So much of it happened last night, Hardy. It's very exciting.
Yeah, let me find something and then we'll talk about it.
All right, very good. We will have that for you coming right up.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy, would you like a fun fact before, while I'm thinking of it, non-sports fact before we go into what happened last night? Because there's not a lot that happened last night.
Yeah.
Movie Idiocracy, early 2000s, Mike Judge film. About a dystopian future where everyone's an idiot. It's everyone becomes a fool. They're not a big budget, if you recall the film. There's little decisions that have to be made. So the costume designer is like, what are we going to do for the footwear? What are we going to do to put these guys in footwear? We don't have any money. And we don't want to get sued by a company or something like that. So they said, all right, there's a new startup shoe company, and we're going to put the cast in these shoes, like all the idiots in these shoes. And then Mike Judge goes, okay, but what about this is a new company? What if these shoes end up becoming a big deal? And the costume designer says, all right, yeah, get out of here. What are you, an idiot? These shoes are never going to become a big deal. I bet you can guess what shoes they are. This is 2000 startup company.
Skechers.
They are Crocs. The Crocs. Oh. They thought so if you go back to Idiocracy and you look at what the people are wearing, they're all wearing Crocs, which had not yet infiltrated the mainstream. And they were Crocs because they were idiot shoes that didn't require tying or anything else. So, and not not wearing a flip flop where there's that whole pesky up and down situation.
Right.
So, if you're wearing Crocs right now, just know that in the year 2001,
you are
a
the future of an idiocy.
This dystopian future. That shoe was the symbol of what an idiot would wear.
Have you ever owned a pair?
I did. I've never owned a pair of Crocs, but I wear flip flops a lot, which is controversial.
I have never owned a pair of Crocs.
Okay, good. I had a moment where I knew I was doing the wrong thing once I was already doing it. And took my son to the pool, and hopped in, lay there for a while. I'm reading my book. I'm like, all right, it's hot. It's time to go. And instead of getting changed, I had already dried off from being in the pool, and I had my slides in my backpack because if I have to get up at the pool, I'll just put those on. I'm like, you know what? I'll just throw these on and walk to the car wearing these. And I felt it as I was walking out of the pool and across the parking lot. This is wrong. And we started driving, and I've got these stupid slides, and they're really, really comfortable. They're nice ones that were given to me, but I only wear them at the pool. That's it.
Right.
And they stay in the backpack. And we're driving home, and I remember I got to stop at Walgreens.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
So I get out. It's bad enough that I'm still wearing, my bathing trunks. But they look like shorts. They're fine. I got a shirt on. All that is fine. I'm sitting there thinking. My son's like, what? What's going on? I said, shut up. I'm thinking. No, I know the right thing. And that's when I finally did the right thing. And I went into the back seat, and I got my shoes out of my backpack, and I changed into my shoes before I went into the Walgreens and came back out. And I felt like something approaching a man again after wearing those stupid slides while I was driving for 2 miles. Oh, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how you walk around in life in either slides or flip-flops and say, yeah, this is a perfectly acceptable thing to do.
I have flip-flops on right now.
I'm sure you do.
Fred, you wear them. He wears them constantly. Only time I ever wear flip-flops is when I go to the beach.
You didn't. Well, you can't wear them on the sand, so you're out there. They're unwearable on the sand, so you're a fool. And if you ever went to college in Florida or spent any time living in Florida, you will have adopted flop lifestyle.
Why?
No pockets flops. Because in Florida, everyone wears flip-flops. It's part of the culture. It's just laid back. Juicy fruit. Grapefruit, juicy fruit. Laid back. You know what I'm saying? Cheeseburgers. Paradise.
Right.
You know the drill.
Yeah, it's a Klondike bar, baby. Come on.
You know the drill. You know the drill, Jack. Just rum drinks and a nice umbrella. That's all it is.
It's just a Jimmy Buffett world.
But listen, man, I went to college in Florida. There was some parrot heads in the building. Don't worry about my friend Tim Hunt.
I bet.
One of my best friends. Don't talk to him really anymore. Nothing happened, but just time. But he was a big parrot head guy because he was from the Keys. and then you almost had to be back then. Go ahead. What happened last night?
What about his
Tell
brother
me.
Mike? Wallach, you get that? All right.
Pretty funny,
Mike
Zoe.
Key from
Yeah,
99X?
I know. I was just like, what would Zoe say right now as soon as Fred said the
Tim
name
Hunt.
of his friend? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, huh, huh.
Zolak sometimes does say funny stuff, though. Like, I was thinking about it when he said that you guys
yeah.
had the producer that he wanted to play with his son because they were the same size.
But this is the great thing about Zoe. He didn't like write that joke. That is a true thing that
No,
he
I
thought
know.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just like when those dudes came in to like sit on the show and they were all muscular, and we're like, oh yeah, these guys are real muscular, and then Zolak just the first thing out of his mouth is, "What do you go to the t-shirt store and go give me the medium?"
Yeah, he said, "What do you guys all go to the medium T-shirt store?"
Which is actually not a bad
It's
line.
very good.
Yeah, so
They
Zolak
did have the sleeves extra short, those three.
Yeah. Well,
somehow we can insult people and they don't take it poorly.
Tony, JP, and
Well, that's just sad at this point, Hardy.
Wow.
It's more sad than
Good for
impressive.
you.
Max. Thank you, Dan O'Brien. Dan O'Brien
Yeah,
came up with
Proud
that
of
joke.
you guys. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's not a lot else going on in those brains. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, just connecting with other human boys. If that's my crime, lock me up. Last night the Red Sox had a chance to win their 5th straight, but instead,
Like that. That's what I mean by cheap.
This is deep. This is gone!
Oh no! Wrong kind of
Into the Red Sox
souvenir.
club.
Put it away. Slap it on the back of a mule and send it out to the desert and bury it.
next to a stick of juicy fruit.
And it is 7-2.
Ooh,
Actually-
this is not palm tree tattoo weather. Throw it back, fans. Show some sass.
That would have been their 4th straight win last night. They've won like 3 straight series. They took the series
playing
against the
very
Phillies
well.
and the Yankees and Blue. Actually, like 4 now after they swept the Blue Jays a couple of series ago, 2 from the Reds, but now Alex Cora, now you've got some problems, even though you felt you competed today.
It wasn't a great game for us. The one thing I was proud the way we continue to compete. Put good at bats. The way we're competing is the right way. And I love it. So we'll show up tomorrow, win the series, and move on.
No,
5 hits total.
it's not enough.
No,
generally.
not really. That's not competing, really.
Also, how about your pitching last night? How about your pitcher there,
Yeah.
Skip?
2 walks put him in a bad spot. We gotta throw more strikes. That's the most important thing. Regardless of the results. That summarize his outing. We gotta throw more strikes.
Work fast, throw strikes.
Yep.
So I was watching.
Thanks, Troop.
That's true. Work fast, throw strikes.
Cleveland played Baltimore yesterday, and I was watching a little bit of the game, and or maybe it was Minnesota played Baltimore, but it doesn't really matter. There was a lefty pitching a kid, and they're like, he doesn't have a fastball. Like they nail his fastball, and they showed the averages against his various pitches, and people were hitting over 500 against his fastball. And they're like, it's too slow. Kid was throwing 92 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and in the day and age where, it's hard to get promoted to the majors, you have to throw 95.
When was the last time you stood in against someone throwing breaking balls? That you like against like a real breaking ball?
I was in my...
Okay, so it hasn't
while
been
ago.
recently. So like
No.
I just recently like took at bats against people that were throwing like off speed stuff.
yeah.
It's I don't know how you can't, if you're a professional hitter, how you can't piece up velocity. Like there's a point where it's just not going to matter anymore. Like you're going to be able to do that. What's impossible is changing speeds in movement. Like it's impossible to hit something moving strangely. So I don't know why there's this obsession with velocity. Because a good hitter is going to be able to catch up to anything. It's got to be a return to the mean, I would imagine, at some point. Because placement in movement is 1,000 times harder to hit, especially with the books they have on these hitters. Like if you know like someone can't hit low and outside, and you just hammer low and outside and confuse them, or throw pitches that dip at the end.
Or set him up just for a pitch or two before you throw that pitch he can't hit.
You don't have to strike him out. I mean, you just gotta get him to not hit the ball hard. I mean, you would think that would be far more difficult to hit than some guy just throwing 99.
Yep.
Because who can't hit it? Who in the major leagues can't hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball?
You wouldn't be there if you couldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I understand there's guys that throw in the high 90s that don't make it in the league because their ball's too flat. But still, it just seems like you're risking an awful lot of injury, and also it's just. And I know I'm not even a baseball player, but it's just so much more difficult when things are moving around and changing speeds.
Do you remember who it was? I was just looking at the game. It was Cleveland against Baltimore. You remember which pitcher, which team he played for?
Cleveland.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, the guy's done pretty well. His ERA is very high.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you what they said. It's just an
Logan
antidote.
Allen.
It's not an antidote, anecdote. It's not really about the guy. It's just more about the game.
Oh, anecdote.
Anecdote. Thank you.
I'm sure there were some anecdotes shared last night on the NESN alternate broadcast, and we spoke with Jared Carabas about that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to tune in.
I tuned in right at the beginning. Papelbon was wearing a Celtics jersey, had the guns out.
Oh,
and,
nice.
He and I watched, I think, the first inning.
Okay.
They seemed comfortable. I mean, it wasn't. Oh my God, I can't believe this is what I've been missing all these years. But it was pretty good.
It's smart by Nets, and I mean, get younger viewers, and these alternate broadcasts. It probably doesn't cost them anything, so good.
I think it's probably best when there's not much going on in the game, and for baseball, that's most of the game. There's not much going on, and just have Carabas and Papelbon and Carabas or whoever else just sitting there talking about stuff. When something happens in the game, I guess is when things get a little chaotic.
We are now joined by TC, Tom Caron, Clark's Catch-Up Series MVP voter, and Devin Arrow. Get up, ball. Fan interference. Go.
Keep running. You just got to keep going. Keep running.
What are you doing?
What's going on here? What, is it a home run?
The fans are trying to say it's a homer.
Well, then keep your hands in.
What do you got on that, TC?
Home run.
That's
I don't
a
know.
homer.
I can't see it. Because you guys have like 7 boxes on the screen. How am I supposed to
Tom
see
Caron
if it's a...
leaning into that Boston accent. He's like, this one's for the kids. I didn't know Tom Caron really putting the pedal to the metal on that Boston accent right there.
Like 7 boxes on the screen.
Boxes on the screen. That's British.
Yeah, I was just
I don't know. I can't see it. Because you guys have like 7 boxes on the screen. How am I supposed to see if it's a home run or not?
Yeah, but you got to look at this guy. Dale from Charlestown is way. Oh, that's fan interference.
I told you it was fan interference, man.
It kind of sounds like a morning radio show. I don't mind it.
Why are they making fun of Dale Arnold?
No.
Just because there's a handsome older gentleman in the crowd.
Low-hanging fruit.
I mean, please. Not everyone has to stick up for Wallach, who hates him so much. All right, we'll be back. I can only imagine what you can conjure up there, Hardy, from all the things that are happening here in July as we limp into the 4th of July week. Very difficult to get up this morning. I'm not going to lie to anyone. That's where I was going in the first break of the show, before I got sidetracked. Very difficult right now. If you're listening to our voices live right now, you know that this is not a fun time to be alive this week. Next week's the good week to be alive because you can sleep. Conceivably, these are the things that you live for.
I don't know. I think both, Wallach and I, when we kind of, take each other's temperature rectally.
Excuse me?
First thing in the morning when we see each other, I think we were both in pretty good moods today. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I don't have any rational.
You guys are always in good moods, though.
But I think part of it is I think we have a couple of really fun things on the show today. I'm looking forward to.
Oh, good. That's because I said limp. You had to come back.
No.
You
We.
dumbass. Stupid.
Hey.
Stupid dumbass.
No.
Bad mood.
You don't have to push me in that direction. I already dislike you. If you want me to hate you, we can work on that next week when we're off the air. We'll take some time apart from the show and see if I hate you in a social setting as well as the professional setting.
Come on down to Tennessee. Everyone else is.
I kind of want to. I seriously, I think we're both of the age now where you start thinking about what you'll be doing when you're not driving into work every day.
You would love where my parents live.
I bet I would. With the golf courses and
There's 3 golf courses.
Oh.
You would absolutely love it.
Seasons?
There's seasons. There's no state tax. There is. It's very inexpensive. You would love it. It's a good place to retire. My dad's no dummy. He found the most way to hang on to his money, and that was it. Without sacrificing quality of life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not one of these dumbos retiring down there in Massachusetts.
You said a mouthful there, buddy.
Yep. All right.
Government do take a bite, don't she?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll be right back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
NBA draft is tonight. Celtics have a pick. They will choose 30th in round number 1 tonight. They have pick number 54 overall tomorrow night in round 2. Celtics also announced yesterday Kristaps Porzingis will undergo surgery to repair the dislocated tendon in his leg. He won't play for Latvia during Olympic qualifying next month. In other NBA news, Brooklyn made a massive deal late last night. The Nets had sent Mikal Bridges to the Knicks for Bojan Bogdanovic, 5 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a second-round selection. And at Fenway Park last night, Toronto snapped a 7-game losing streak with a 9-4 win over the Red Sox. Vlad Guerrero, 4 RBIs for the winners. Cutter Crawford faces the Jays tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Ryan and his team want to thank all the great men and women in the trades who get up early every morning to keep our homes and businesses running, keep working hard, and finish every job strong. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
Like we were meant for.
might want to freshen up these bets.
Yeah, but don't take this one out. This is Aerosmith and Run DMC, Fred. I don't think you're picking up on what's being laid down here.
I just might take this summer and just go let's freshen everything up on the radio station. But that's not my pay grade.
Can I address something quickly here?
You may, as long as you don't give up mine.
This is why I don't post anything online anymore, because I did yesterday.
What BMX Bandit or BMX Psycho or whatever come after you too and just start screaming about Kendra Middleton, even though the video has nothing to do with her?
I get that, and I have nothing to do with this. I get people screaming at me about that.
What a friggin' mistake. This is all I did. You remember the advertiser here on the radio station, Mr. Grill? And it's a professional grill
if they advertised,
cleaning
of course they
service.
did. I've used Mr. Grill, as a matter of fact.
Okay. And I was supposed to do it last fall, and I didn't. And I called up Zach from Mr. Grill. I'm like, hey, I'd like to schedule something. He said, absolutely.
Wow, the business you called agreed to perform the business for you.
Right. So yesterday, I came home from work, and he was there. And
he was at least wearing protection.
Well, no, I forgot that he was showing up, and my wife is at work, and
at work, and work doing what?
I got it.
No, I go in the house and I'm kind of panicked because
of course
only my son is home because I see my daughter's off, doing whatever she does all day. And
stop it.
I'm not even addressing it.
I didn't say anything.
You don't have to. Stop it.
I go into the house.
How can I stop doing nothing?
The first thing I say to my son is, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you the grill guy was coming. He's like, what? I said, the guy in the back deck with the grinder and the full coveralls and the breather and all this stuff. I didn't notice. It's loud. I can hear him in the driveway.
Yeah, the thing is loud as birds.
I said, where's the dog? The dog is laying by the front door, looking out in the complete wrong direction. I'm like, you guys are great. Yes. Anyway.
Come on in, break in the house.
Seriously.
No problem.
So I go, he finishes up. I take a picture. I posted on Twitter. I said, Zoe, you were right about Mr. Grill because he endorsed him and he was the first one to use them, right? The comments. Oh, my God. You paid someone to clean your grill. LOL. You're so bougie. I just clean my own grill. It takes an hour. You guys are so lazy. Blah, blah, blah. I do 90% of the work around my house myself. Yeah, I actually, and paid. Oh, how much did that cost you? This is a rich dude's thing. Lazy bastards. I'm looking at all the comments right now. Mm-hmm. 90% of the stuff I do around the house, I do myself. Mr. Grill comes out. They do a 100% better job than I would do of cleaning my grill. Plus, it's a filthy job. And when I do it, there's little bits of burger and steak and chicken everywhere that the dog then eats and gets sick. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Here's a guy that'll do it. By the way, zero evidence that he was there after he's done other than your grill is brand new.
All right.
And people's just suck. They want that, and they're like, oh, I can't believe you're doing
justified the
this.
free grill cleaning. We understand.
I did. It wasn't free, jackass. I just said I paid for it.
I like how this is what's bothering you. These are the comments that are bothering you.
No. I get
all the things you've been pissed off about Twitter.
Right,
okay, I didn't get a death threat in the last month, but I get much worse stuff than that. But this one is so innocuous. Hey, Mr. Grill, this is a good guy who does a good job. Look at the job. You suck, lazy rich guy.
Right, so Nick put a video.
F off, everybody. Seriously. Just stop.
Nick put a video up of me talking about the guy who had MILF hunters on his car at Saugus when I was in Saugus and about the loon. So it's just about the guy who has MILF hunters that I was at Kowloon. And I went with Kowloon with my ex-wife and my kids because my son had a baseball game out there. Someone says Fred and Kendra's date night. BMX Nut says he's a pervert. So Nick steps in and goes, he's not the one with MILF hunters on his windshield. And BMX Nut says he couldn't handle Kendra. What's going on in BMX Nut's mind? Like, what is that? What is that? That's just his own brain talking to him. That's someone talking to the toaster. At least people are referring to something that is on
they're
your
not,
timeline.
Yeah, they're not making some jump into your psychology and inventing some scenario that in no way, shape, or form happened. They're just
Kendra. Kendra's not in the video. She hasn't been on the show since Thursday.
Right.
The only topic of conversation with Kendra has been you and her doing the thing.
Right.
And the guy just is like, he's a pervert. And then, okay. And then Nick goes, that's not nice. And then he couldn't handle Ken. Like, he couldn't handle Kendra. What the hell is going on in your brain? These are the things I get. People who create stories in their minds. The whole worlds that involve me that I'm not even a part of. Their own imagination. It's very strange. Very, very strange.
It really is. Just looking for anything to jump all over you. I just don't. I went back and looked and saw the last time I posted something on Twitter. It had been a while. Yeah, and this is the reason why.
Well, there's a girl.
I don't, man.
In all seriousness, my friend Sebastian's on that syndicated show out of L.A., The Woody Show. And the Woody Show was in like St. Louis and San Francisco and all these places. And it started out with this guy, Woody, and this woman. And the woman just left the show. And I'm almost positive she left the show because she just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And that's a nationally syndicated show out of L.A. And I think she just left the show because she was like, screw this. I don't want to deal with it. Life is too short. Which there is a point to be made that life is too short. That's really against all philosophical teachings that you should be opus dei like this at all the times, Like, unless you're making, like, a tremendous amount of money. And you can kind of hide away from it. But the girl I guarantee you that's why she left the Woody Show. And she didn't do anything wrong. Just existing.
Yeah.
Having the nerve. And that's a really non-offensive show. Like, they're not saying anything, to my knowledge, very controversial. And I think she just got sick of it. She's just like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. She's probably like 50 years old, and she's 55 years old. And she's just like, screw it. And now she's probably going to get mad at me because I said she was 55, and she's probably like 45. And she's going to be like, a-hole.
She's going to post on your timeline. You watch.
I don't know. But that's why she left. All right. Well, I apologize to you, Hardy. You should have cleaned your own grill after all.
Apparently.
You just want people to know you're very handy around the house. You just happen not
how much
to do
it cost?
this part
How much does it cost to clean the grill? I just remember it being expensive.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what the job is and what has to be done. I mean, it's anywhere from like $150 to $300. I think.
How much is a grill?
My grill was about $1,000.
All right, so you can justify like getting it cleaned twice.
Yeah, and I've had it for 6 years, and I've cleaned it like 3 times myself. Like took everything out and cleaned it, and yeah, I brush it down before and after each use. But I've probably done like 3 real cleanings of it. I'm like, I'm not done. It's that one of those jobs I just hate. I hate doing that because when I do it, I have to take it off the deck because I make a huge mess and, dragging this thing around. And it's like, who needs it? And this guy, this is what they do. What they do is totally, totally worth it.
My kids go, why don't you get a grill for the outside? I said, no. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to use it. Mm-hmm. What do I need a grill? Why do you need that cooked on the grill outside? What's the point of that? When we had a grill at the old house, I often thought, what the hell's the point of this thing? So I can stand out in the heat and make food over the flame in the heat? Unless you're our own Ryan Johnston and you're doing the Roadhouse and it's become
rack of ribs.
Yeah, it's become a passion of yours.
Well, if
I
you're
mean, what the hell's
smoking,
different? Seriously, unless you're like super into it and like Dave Grohl in it and like letting things marinate for overnight and
it's a whole experience. I have a guy who does not have a grill but has one of those eggs.
Yeah,
you know what
sure.
I'm saying?
Like if you're doing that, then I understand it. But if you're just going out there and making hot dogs and hamburgers, what's the point?
Oh, no.
What was that look for?
Because it's almost like you knew what happened yesterday. I set up a dual appointment for this guy because I wanted to make it worth his while. I'm like, I want you to come over here and I'll pay you for like one grill. My neighbor has a green egg. He would like that clean too.
Oh, you're working with the neighbors now. Look at that.
Well,
You get a discount, a twofer?
And
No, you
I
gotta swing
guarantee
it.
if I said something online like, I cleaned my own grill and my neighbor did his too, people would jump all over my ass for saying, why don't you support a local business like Mr. Grill, idiot?
Of course.
Yeah.
You're telling me
You
that
say,
Twitter's
is this
mean.
your first time on Twitter?
Yeah, I know. I don't really know what you
I
don't know what you expected to happen.
weeks or months since I posted anything like unprompted, and that's why I don't.
Well,
that's why I don't.
Attaboy, Hardy, way to go. That's
Yeah,
what you were hoping
like in
for?
fairness, like what's anyone going to say that's positive? Like,
Jeez,
wow,
nothing.
like congratulations on getting your grill cleaned. Steve, go ahead.
Hey, I was just curious, Hardy. Do you wear gloves when you do the dishes, or like when you grill? I'm just wondering because I feel like you might have sensitive hands. I'm just trying to get a bigger picture here.
You're funny.
You
You
are
should
funny,
call in
Steve.
every morning at 6:54
You got
with
it.
gems
I love
like
you guys.
that.
Thank you,
Jag-off.
Steve. Don't listen to Hardy. By the way, I heard Nick is very,
What? I can't say jag off?
No. FCC, he's the one who said jag off, not me. By the way, Nick, I heard, is very rude to the callers.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like
That's not good.
he's very rude. I got an email saying like I don't understand why he's so nasty, and he's really the receptionist of the show. He should have a smile, if anything. He's turning off the listeners that are afraid to call in. I was wondering why no one calls in, and now it turns out it's Nick. It's Nick's fault. He's overwhelmed. He's got too much going on. He's making these videos with BMX Nut comes on there and starts yelling about this female that has nothing to do with the video. There is something rather upsetting about that.
Something
like what's
wrong.
going on?
Yeah, I tell you,
what's going on?
You know
in
what's
your
upsetting?
brain?
There's something really wrong with some people, and they're out there, driving around. Maybe they have jobs. Maybe they're handling food.
Yeah, because
that's what's bothersome about it.
Because you have to understand, like I've been doing this for a long time, and if you suck, like you're not funny, like this and that. These are legitimate points. It's when you create a fantasy world in your own head that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. That's when it gets a little like, what's going on? Like you're really putting a lot of thought into this whole thing, and it's too much. It's too much for me. He's a pervert. It's like John L. Sterling. He's a pervert. He's got AIDS. That's not nice. He couldn't handle Kendra. What? I'm a nut for BMX, I like. I'm a real nut for it.
I used to subscribe to BMX Plus.
Eddie Fierro. Hey.
Stu Thompson. I used to ride for Redline.
Rad.
I used to cut out all the cartoons of Radical Rick and Motocross Mug.
We go to the construction sites and make little mounds of dirt.
I didn't like BMX Action. I thought it was an inferior periodical.
Carrie, real quick. I know, Dan. Carrie, go ahead.
Hey, I just want Hardy. I just want to know like where it ends. I mean, do you have your driveway power washed also, or?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I did when I was power washing last weekend. Power wash some unsightly tire marks off my driveway.
Look at that.
See, it all becomes clear now. I mean, you don't like Black Betty. It's just kind of a hoity-toity kind of.
Yeah. He really is. He's a real rich prick, is what he is. I'll tell you that.
Real sophisticated taste you have, Hardy.
Thank you. I know, Carrie. Me and you, we're the salt of the earth. All right, we'll be right back. JJ Redick's a prick. We will talk about that.
You're listening to Toucher It. The Sports Hub, a BC Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The first round of the 2024 NBA draft is tonight, and the Celtics are lined up to participate for the first time since they took Aaron Nesmith and Peyton Pritchard in that round 4 years ago. They have the 30th and final selection tonight, and then the 54th overall pick tomorrow evening as well. Atlanta's on the clock at number 1. The Celtics also announced yesterday Kristaps Porzingis will not play for Latvia in Olympic qualifying next month and will instead undergo surgery on his leg in the coming days. The Brooklyn Nets have decided to undergo a full rebuild. They made a couple of big trades last night. First, they sent Mikal Bridges to the Knicks in exchange for Bojan Bogdanovic, 4 unprotected first-round draft picks, a protected first-rounder, a pick swap, and a second-round selection. And then they reacquired their own first-round selections from Houston in 2025 and 2026. At Fenway Park last night, Toronto snapped a 7-game losing streak with a 9-4 win over the Red Sox. Brian Bayo allowed 7 runs and didn't make it out of the third inning in front of Alex Cora.
2 walks put him in a bad spot. We gotta throw more strikes. That's the most important thing, regardless of the results. That summarize his outing. We got to throw more strikes.
Vlad Guerrero drove in 4 runs for the winners. Rafael Devers and Tyler O'Neill both homered for the Red Sox. Cutter Crawford faces the Jays tonight. And the Patriots have announced the dates of all of their training camp practices. The first workout is on July 24th. And also included is a joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles in Foxborough on August 13th. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Diabetic Care. Are you using a Freestyle or Dexcom continuous glucose monitor to manage your diabetes? Eastern Diabetic Care of New England provides awesome customer service with on-time home delivery of all your supplies. Visit easterndiabetic.com. That's easterndiabetic.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Al Horford.
This is Al Horford.
Al Horford catching slam. Horford for 3.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, everybody. We're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can watch us every morning on YouTube with Ben and Riz and all those guys in the comments. There's a community, and they're around for Joe's show too. I hear him shout some of those people out. So anyway, if you go on YouTube, you can. I think they've made friends, much like in the BCN days when we had the group of people. I probably can't say what we called them back in the day anymore, but when we had that group of very loyal, small but loyal following at BCN, and they all kind of became friends with each other and were in each other's weddings and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You still see them. You still see them.
Oh, yeah, you see like
events.
Pats
Oh, yeah.
from Everett and so-and-so and such and such. I don't know where all the females went. They're all gone. We used to have a bunch of hot female listeners, and now at least if we do, they're not contacting me anymore.
We only play Red Hot Chili Peppers, like twice an hour for 30 seconds for a rejoin bed, and that's not enough to keep the fine Phillies listening. You got to play more Chili Peppers than that.
I had a girl tell me that I had to put better looking. She's like, you're not as ugly as the pictures of. You're not as ugly, which is a great compliment. She said, you're not as ugly as the pictures that you put up online. You should market yourself better to female people. And I said, what are you doing?
Oh, I can feel them tuning in right now.
Which one is this? Oh, hey yo. Yeah, this is not a good song. All right, I don't like it. I heard it enough. I heard it every hour for 4 years.
Well,
Wellington fell asleep behind the wheel of that station. Or the guy from L.A. did.
Yeah, he didn't fall asleep. He was just convinced that what we needed to be doing was playing I'm Shipping Up to Boston 35 times a week, a year and a half after the song came out.
Yeah, and even they got sick of us playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. J.J. Redick. It's funny because he took the Lakers job. I like that he took the Lakers job after they offered it to someone else and publicly offered it to someone else, and he publicly turned it down.
Yeah.
J.J. Redick is not like on the way in today. I heard a guy who knows him on the radio saying he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he'll let you know. Just listen to him speak. He's like a prick, basically.
Well, he was a prick to Felger and Maz.
It's been, pass fail, for lack of a better term. If they were to not win the championship, why do you think it'll be?
If they don't win the championship, it'll be because the better team won. But
So
I think Boston is the better team for sure.
So
Why wouldn't I think that?
Well, they would lose for a reason other than being a better team. Like that happens, right? You get outworked or outcoached, or
I don't think you get
play...
outworked at this stage of basketball. Right. I think that's a very asinine way to talk about the NBA. You think the Boston beat Indiana because Indiana got outworked?
No, not in that case. I think Miami outworks Boston a lot of times when they play.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll disagree with you on that.
Yeah, it's asinine. Yeah,
what an ass.
You're really breaking the molecules down. You're really cold fusion there, J.J. Redick, with your takes on a 5-5 playground game.
Well,
congratulations on all the various like. Ask anyone who coaches in the NBA. Seriously, ask anyone who coaches in the NBA how much on-court coaching, how much game planning are you doing? It's entirely motivational. Their job is almost entirely motivational.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you asked him in another setting,
which just to bring this home, Fred, which manifests in how hard you end up working during a game. And yes, even at this level, in the conference finals and in the NBA finals.
Okay, explain to me how Dallas blew out the Celtics in Game 4 of that series. Did Kidd come up with some ingenious wrinkle in his offense that made them blow up? No, he's asinine. And you can talk to any of these guys about it, and they will tell you, these coaches, is that I guarantee if you found J.J. Redick and you positioned a question another way so he could call you asinine in an a-hole in another way, if you went, I don't think the players get the coaching. I don't think they get the plays. He would be, 1,000% would tell you, he'd go, well, that's asinine at this level. These guys have been playing basketball their whole lives. These guys know more about the game than anyone else in the world. He would turn it into something else that there's no way that they wouldn't know what's going on because so it would have – you could get him to say it was a matter of effort easily. He was just going to disagree with anything they said. And he's a prick.
The no fallout from this, but afterwards it was great. Felger and Maz, who took a ration of crap online for that stuff, they had Ryan Russillo on, and Russillo was like, you know what, I just heard about the interview, and I assumed, that was just Felger and Maz being a pain in the ass, and then I went back and listened to it, and no, J.J. Redick really just didn't want to be there. And Redick went on his podcast afterwards and said, you know what, after I did an appearance on a Boston radio station, do you think that Celtic fans will enjoy this if they win? Somehow he had morphed it into Felger and Maz being asses, so Boston is entirely miserable. When in reality, he was the guy that was miserable during the whole thing.
In all fairness, I don't think Maz is enjoying it. But, he
may
have had a point there.
Fair.
He's just
most
a dick. And again, they didn't put a microphone in front of his face when he was leaving a restaurant. They didn't come up to him at a table.
He knew he was going to be on. They didn't catch him by surprise.
Yeah, he didn't do it because his grandma is Maz's cousin. I mean, he came on the show on his own will. You look like a dick. That's why he brought it up on the podcast too, is because he knows he came off like a dick.
Sure,
he's a know-it-all dick. And by the way, his big genius move is being good at shooting and filleting LeBron enough to get that shot.
No, Fred, he rights all these wrongs at his introductory press conference on Monday. And whether you think he's being a dick or whether you think he's too close to LeBron, he dispelled all those myths.
What was his advice to you throughout this whole coaching?
She's asking about LeBron and what advice.
What was his advice to you throughout this whole coaching search process?
He didn't provide any advice. LeBron and I did not talk about the Lakers job until Thursday afternoon, about 30 minutes after I was offered the job. And that was very intentional on both our parts.
Mike, is that somebody in the press conference going, come on?
Is that someone really in the press conference going, come on? I don't know. Yes, it is. He's gonna last half a season.
Hold on, I just gotta.
LeBron and I did not talk about the Lakers job until Thursday afternoon.
That's
That's great.
Vic the Brick. He's going to last half a season. They're going to draft. That whole organization is just a joke. The L.A. Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, the one team in L.A. anyone cares about, the marquee team in the NBA, maybe the Celtics, but in a town where no one cares about sports, they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're bending all over themselves to get a 40-year-old grandfather to come let his kid play and hire his buddy. And I'm not even sure LeBron's going to like J.J. Redick.
No, see, that's the thing. Just wait till LeBron takes however many games off. Just wait until he disappears. The Lakers are, limping along at like 6-11. Those are the press conferences I want to see J.J. Redick handle.
You know who J.J. Redick is? He's Matt Patricia. He's Matt Patricia.
Ooh.
The media already hates him before he took the job.
That's a sneaky good call there.
Thank you. Because you have to admit, one thing I know, because I am one. I can sniff these people out. I can sniff these people out. Admit I'm good at it. I know you guys like to bust my balls.
One thing I know, believe me.
Huh? Am I right or am I wrong?
Phony pricks. I identify a phony prick.
Thank you. You're making fun of it, but it's true.
Well, we kind of knew he was a phony prick.
I'm not making fun of that. I'm making fun of the believe me, and if it's the one thing I know. Because there are at least 3 or 4 things that are the one thing that you know.
Radio and this. Radio and this.
Maybe it's just 2.
Yeah, 2.
Okay, so J.J. Redick has ideas. He has a plan. He has a philosophy.
I want to coach the Lakers. I want to coach the team. I don't want to dispel anything. I don't.
Oh, you suck. Just go to hell.
Oh!
Why can't he be like the coach of the Panthers, who's fun and just won a championship? You egocentric prick.
Paul Maurice, that guy.
I want to coach the Lakers.
Good. You're solving the mysteries of life. You're a great thinker. You're a big seeker there with your 5-on-5 skills.
I want to coach the Lakers.
That's all he wants to do.
Oh, what a dick. And how can anyone root for Duke? Sorry, Cadillac. I don't understand how you can root for Duke.
Team, I don't want to dispel anything. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to become a great coach in the
yelling
NBA.
in the background.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, I wonder if they're going to talk to him about sounding this condescending all the time.
Yeah.
Condescending in an introductory press conference, it doesn't go well. Because you can say what you want about the media. You might not need him on your side. Like Missoula didn't have him necessarily on his side. But you can't have him going after you with pitchforks in torches, which is what happened to Patricia.
Just wait. It'll be exactly like Patricia. Just wait until the Lakers lose 3 or 4 in a row, and they're settling in for that December and January swoon because their 2 stars are older, and they'll be there every single day. Unlike Patricia, they'll be there every single day questioning the moves he makes, and he can be pompous, but they're going to say, fine, but you were wrong.
Yeah, but here's another thing, is that for every Felger that's like going to be negative about everything, there's a Roach that's positive about most things. And when you piss off a guy like that and that guy starts talking negatively about you, the fan base goes, oh. And you go, oh, what about Roach? It's just a thing in town. It's a thing in a town. Like when you alienate the entire media, you might not want to believe it as a fan because you shake your head, but you're listening to this now, and you read something. When you alienate the entire media, that turns the fan base against you. Again, Monday Night Football, the Lions lose, first game Patricia ever coaches, at a bar. Patricia comes on the TV, and there's literally beer bottles and cans being thrown at the TV and booze.
Yeah,
his first game because he pissed off the media.
People are taking their cues from all over the place, and if it's this media person or that, there may be somebody who's still positive. But if they all turn on you, then most people are going to turn.
I want to become a great coach in the NBA, and I want to win championships.
Okay.
That's the other thing. You can do this if you're coaching in Charlotte or Cleveland. You can't do this if you're coaching in Los Angeles for one of the great franchises ever.
I can't believe they hired him. I just can't believe that they don't have the upper hand. You own the Lakers. You are better. You figure it out. Don't you? Why are you kowtowing to a 40-year-old? 22-year-old LeBron, maybe. Not a 40-year-old LeBron. You're bigger than your organization is bigger than 40-year-old LeBron. I don't get it. These guys just cater to these players. I don't understand
It's almost like they pointed at the TV. They looked up at the TV, pointed at the TV, and go, "Oh, that guy, and he knows LeBron. Let's hire him."
And you publicly tried to hire the highest profile coach maybe in the country, regardless of professional or whatever. I mean, right now, Danny Hurley, I mean, everyone knows what you offered him, which was more years than you gave Redick. Everyone knows the money you offered him, which is more than you offered Redick. Everyone knows you did it, and then you turn around with your tail between your legs and just hire some chump.
So this is the part of the press conference in his introductory press conference on Monday where it's like, this is what I want. I want to coach the Lakers. I want to coach the team.
I want to coach the team.
Thank you. But it's not all positive.
And I want my players to maximize their careers. That's all I care about.
Okay, all right. Well, now he's getting a little salty. What about the outside noise, J.J. Redick?
I've certainly heard everything. It's been a really interesting 6 weeks or so, just in terms of being part of the engagement farming industry. It's been really interesting. However, I don't really have a great
answer, dumbass. You do 2 podcasts, you stupid idiot.
Engagement farming.
Answer for your.
Yeah, you're not in an ashram in India. Like you're doing podcasts yourself, you stupid prick.
Answer for your question, because I really don't give a. Like, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, you do. You care so little that you had a podcast so you could respond to everything. You care so little. You talked about the Felger and Maz interview. You care so little. Oh, boy. What a little egg. Good for you. He's going to crash and burn. You mark my words. Because that team's not going to be any good. He's going to crash and burn. They're all old, and their third best player is Austin Reeves, who's got a shoe company that my son wanted shoes from made out of cardboard. All right. Hardy lives in Kansas, so you know what that means. He's got Karen Reed fever. He's all on pins and needles.
Oh, that's right.
I've been dying to talk about it. Let's do it.
Yeah, Hardy really doesn't want to talk about it, but he lives in Canton, and they might come down with the verdict today. We've never talked about it. We have no insight to give, but Hardy, he's rubbing elbows with all these people in Canton. You know him. He's getting his grill cleaned. He knows the postman. He's hanging out in front of the hardware store with his coffee, talking to Ma and Pa Canton. He knows all about it. We'll have that.
Do you know your mailman's name?
I should, because I talk to him all the time, but I don't off the top of my head. Sorry,
Stevie.
dude. All right, very good.
Yeah.
You also give flowers to the trash guys.
Well, not flowers, but Reno and Joey. Yeah, they get a Christmas
stop
gift
it!
every
Come
year.
on.
He gives him a Christmas
Reno's a
gift.
recycling guy, enjoys the trash.
And then
guy.
you go, how do you give him the recycling gift, or give them the gift, and he waits out on the lawn for him.
Isn't that nice?
Well,
Look at you.
They like to pet the dog too.
You get the little lawn chair. You sit out there, do you?
Yeah.
No, I just wait by the door with my coffee. Not anymore. I can't do it. They come too early.
Oh, that's a shame. All right, we'll be right back. nation is very focused on this Karen Reed trial. We've never talked about it, except I bring it up sometimes to make Hardy uncomfortable because he lives in Canton, and everyone, I suppose if you live in Canton, you know people that are somehow involved in this trial one way or another.
Yeah.
And especially when you're someone who socializes like Hardy.
Mm-hmm. Knows the names of everybody.
And also speaks a lot like one of them police officers, the way he talks about women. Whoosh. C-word this and the balloon not that. I mean, he's...
Wow.
You can't stop the guy. Kid. He's
very
he's
inappropriate.
He's a champion of women.
He's a feminist.
He really is. Yeah. He's a good guy. But in all seriousness, I have not been bringing it up because, A, I don't care. And I did do a moral inventory and to see if I did care. And I truly don't care.
Easter egg.
And I know it's exactly. I know it sounds bad, probably to people because it's the loss of human life, and I do appreciate that. But I also can't get emotionally invested every time it happens, and I just have not gotten emotionally invested in this one.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I wouldn't talk about it before is because it hasn't been overstated, like the division this has caused in town. And if it's just me or people that I know or something, that's fine. But it's the kids who are going to school there and the children, not just of like the families that are affected, but like the kids of people who are on like one side of this thing and speaking out about it, as opposed to kids on the other side of this thing, and how those kids interact as teenagers will do. It's been really bad for some of these kids. And, you know, my kids go to Canton Public Schools. I don't want them to have to deal with any of that stuff based on something that I said. So I don't want them to have any grief as a result of that. But, Fred, you're right. I mean, we've lived there for 6 years now, I guess. It's amazing the number of people that I know having to do with this trial, and from the victim to the suspects to the witnesses, like, oh yeah, know them, know him, know her. Yeah, the people on, people in the town government. It's not I don't even know what the population of Canton is, but it is remarkable how connected we got in just a few years there. So yeah, that makes it tougher too, knowing all these people. But about 25,000 people. So yeah, it's a small town. It is, and everybody kind of knows each other. But now that the jury has this thing, and everyone's wondering, like, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I watched a lot of the trial early on. I haven't watched it probably for the last week or two. I got to the point where I think a lot of people did. I was spending way too much time watching it. I'm like, okay, this probably isn't good for me. But I did watch some of the closing arguments yesterday, and I know that the defense only, I think, brought 6 witnesses up to the, compared to the dozens that the prosecution had. And there was some conversation as to whether they were going to mount any kind of a defense at all. If they were just going to say, nope, we did our cross-examination of the prosecution's witnesses, and we think we've done our job here. And if I had to guess, like unofficial polling, what people think, I think people are of the belief that the defense probably did their job to a greater extent than the prosecution did. And some of that was covered in the closing arguments yesterday. What's the prosecution's job here? To convince you beyond a reasonable doubt that their version of events is what happened. And go ahead, Dan.
Not to prove who did it, just to prove that she did not, or place reasonable doubt that she did.
Yeah, it's not even that she didn't do it.
Yeah,
Right.
but they're not there to prove and find the kid. That's not their job.
Right. No,
their job is just to place
Right.
somewhat of reasonable doubt into
Now,
the mind of the juror.
The defense took it much further than that, and was providing alternate theories and all this stuff. But as a means to create reasonable doubt, I don't know how the jury is going to react to all this. And I was half expecting them to come back with a verdict yesterday after they only had the case for a little while. And I didn't see the judge's instructions to the jury. Maybe she said something to the effect of, feel free to take some time on this. Don't go
Lots
back
of
there.
Forms. They had lots of forms to fill out.
Yeah, 15 minutes and come back and say you have your answer. But something tells me it won't take too long, and something tells me that when it's all said and done, they're going to the sad thing about it, number one, of course, is John O'Keefe is dead. And number two, what I believe the resolution to this is going to be is no resolution at all. If they find Karen Reed guilty, at least half the people will say that's not what happened, and they're going to be losing their minds in the town of Canton.
You're afraid if they find her not afraid, but your take is that if they find her guilty, that's what's going to cause the most disruption.
I do, and I think if they find her not guilty, there will be no other real investigation or I think the prosecution will say, like, well, that's who we believe did it, and you can't try her again, so that's it and that's done. And the resolution will be no resolution at all for John O'Keefe and his family because they won't get their answer. And that's going to cause this to go on and on and on.
Is that all that people talk about, like in your social circles in Canton? Is this like
it gets brought? Well, no, it's not all they talk about, but it gets brought up in every conversation. Of course,
right?
Of course, because did you see so and so on the stand yesterday? Did you know this person? I have a buddy who's not even in Canton who texted me yesterday. His friend, or he knows the woman who was dismissed from the jury. Like, everyone seems to know somebody involved with this.
Do you know what particularly about this case, other than it involving an attractive white person, got national attention? Like, why this particularly got national attention? Yes, Daniel.
Conspiracy theories. People love conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But isn't there like always something going on where you could have a conspiracy
Yeah, but this one
theory?
came out if it happened a few years ago, it was almost immediate with some of the online theories that were going around that just fueled people going down the rabbit hole. And then, it's where we are now.
All right.
And all the questions, of course, they have to be asked. There's all kinds of questions that are unanswered and things that don't add up in this case. And on the other side of it, someone said to me the other day about they drove into Canton recently. They were wondering, it's like, what happens if the police stop me here? I'm like, what about the police? Like, I don't think anything about it. I see Canton cop cars all the time. Oh, does it give you a weird feeling? No. What are you talking about? Do you honestly think that it is a small town, but it is not like...
It's not like Mayberry.
It's not Mayberry.
Like,
there's
a
lot of people involved in a lot of different things, and there's, no. I don't have any second thoughts about... how the police are doing their job on a day-to-day basis.
You're saying it's not
in
like
that town.
you're not in like a drug den in Mexico,
right? Now,
where there's going to be a kangaroo court.
When it comes to this investigation and in terms of the way things are handled from a management position, of course, ask those questions. They voted and they wanted everything. They wanted the entire town. The town voted to audit the police department and go through all this stuff. Okay, well, isn't that something that kind of happens anyway? There should be checks and balances for a lot of stuff, and this case certainly brought it under the microscope, so everyone wants to take another look at it. But if you think I'm walking around or driving around town, always checking over my shoulder, wondering who's out to get me, that is another part of this, why it's captured so many people's attention, because people love to think that someo's out to get them. My phone
important?
is listening to me. Oh, the cops are watching me. Oh, shut up. No, they're not.
That's that. Like, I'm important. That
right,
I'm so
exactly.
important that people are interested in me.
And believe me, I think we all share the same mindset here. None of us thinks we're so important that we're being followed or watched or we're going to be framed.
I'm just worried about BMX Nut.
Well,
what's going on in his mind?
He's watching. He's watching your every move.
No, he's not. That's the problem. His mind's eye is inventing his own narratives. Very quickly, Marcel, go ahead, Marcel.
Hey, so I've been following this since day one, and I've been waiting for you guys to talk about it. Just because it's taking over the world. But what do you guys think about the text messages in the middle of the night? how long it takes to die in the cold.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, the
what does this have to do with leaky
Proctor,
balloon knot? That's all I took away from this thing.
Michael Proctor,
Marcel, what is
everything
your
else.
theory? You're getting at something. You're saying that you think that she's guilty is what you're saying.
No. Obviously, she's there's enough there to get her not guilty. There's enough reasonable doubt there. Just the investigation alone. I mean, when you look at the O.J. Simpson case, Mark Furlan was the one who made O.J. Simpson guilty in that case. I mean, not guilty in that case because of what he did. So it's basically the same scenario, with Michael Proctor. That's my opinion.
Right. There you go. Well, Hardy knows all these people, so he's not going anywhere. You can't drag him out of Canton.
We have someone else that we work with on this floor who lives in Canton as well.
Yeah, well, I find that very difficult to believe.
Come on.
I know.
Conversations in the hallway have been,
Oh, that's right. You're neighbors with her. Are you?
Well, not neighbors, but we both live in Canton. Yeah.
Did you ever go over there get a cup of sugar?
No, I gave her and her husband a ride home from a like company event once, but they had parked at the commuter rail station, so I didn't drive to their home. I just drove them to their car.
No, it doesn't count. No, that doesn't count.
No,
that's
sure
a shame that you're friends with everyone in Canton, but the people that you work with.
I know. Ironic. It's ironical, man.
All right. Well,
you could commute. You guys could carpool together.
She mentioned that several times early on, and I said, no, thank you.
Well, do you know who I'd wanted to be mingling around the streets of my town is true crime fanatics. They seem like a fun group.
There was that big ruckus out on Washington Street. I think it was on Sunday, and I had just missed it. But I think maybe I saw some of the aftermath because I had to run out to run an errand. I'm like, what the hell's going on over there? Oh, yeah, there's more shenanigans.
Yeah, so that is what were they doing?
Who knows? You know what they were doing? Everyone's got their cell phones out taking videos of each other. That's what they're doing.
Oh, cool. That's the ancillary benefit
That's what
of having
That's
this
what
in town.
what everybody does. Everyone takes their videos out.
And then they all post it, and everyone looks, and everyone gets really happy that people are looking.
All right. Well, very good. Well, as long as everyone can profit off of this, it's exciting. And now we have, because we're being paid to do this, and Wynn just talked about it. So you think today maybe they come down with the old Verderoonie? Is that's what I call it in the legal circles?
The Verderoonie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised though.
Okay.
I'd
want to get the hell out of there. And if I'm going to vote not guilty, I'm not changing my mind, because if I've ever thought not guilty, that's not beyond a reasonable doubt. So I just want to get out of there at that point.
Yeah, I wonder.
There's enough there to keep your opinion where it is.
Yeah, you could convince me they're not guilty, but if I don't think they're,
if you start there,
if I start there,
you're not
going
to agree.
And
because no way.
That'd be interesting. Not that we want to have a bunch of lawyers calling in, but
no, I certainly do not.
But
if you're a juror, call in.
I would bet though, Fred, in most cases, it is far more likely for someone who goes into the room thinking guilty to be swayed not guilty than the other way around.
Well, because think about it. There's real consequences there's very real consequences, tangible consequences if you say someone's guilty and they go to jail for the rest of their life when you have any doubt that they did it, because that's what happened. And if you really don't think that they're a murderer, then you don't think they're going to murder again, because they never murdered the first time. So, yeah, I would, if I thought they were not guilty, I don't think I could be convinced they were guilty, and then I would just want to leave. If I was ready to put someone in jail for the rest of their life or in another state get them executed, then I would be all ears, because I would like to be taken off the hook for being responsible for someone's death. That would be good for me. I'd never make a jury anyway. I'm too connected. I'm too much of a hotshot, a big roller. You know what I'm saying? I'm too empathetic, too. I'm modest. Everything that you don't want in a juror. I'd outclass the lawyers. I'd be like, objection to that. And they'd be like, you're a juror. And I'd be like, look at this suit. This ain't a juror suit, Jack. This is a highfalutin lawyer. I'm like, L.A. law, Corbin Burnson, baby, major league, third baseman.
Sir, you are wearing a sport coat, but there appears to be a hood attached to it. Are you sure?
And then I would say some of us.
Why did you wear your Detroit Tigers hat into the courtroom?
Could you take your hat off, sir?
Some of us, rub elbows with minorities, and some of us, I guess, do not.
Oh, darn it. We've been found out again, Hardy. It's too bad. Fred's sniffing out a phony once again.
Never have I had more respect from the black community than when you two white bread bozos start calling me out of my attire. You know what I'm saying, Riz? One love. All right, we'll be right back.
Take that, cheap suit.
All right, we'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
The NBA draft is tonight at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. At least the first round is. And as of right now, the Celtics have a choice tonight. They will have the final selection in round one. They have number 54 overall. They will participate tomorrow night as well. Kristaps Porzingis has opted for surgery on his leg in the coming days. He will not play for Latvia in Olympic qualifying early next month. A massive trade for the Brooklyn Nets last night. They sent Mikal Bridges to the Knicks for Bojan Bogdanovic, 5 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a second-round selection. Red Sox beaten by Toronto last night, 9-4 at Fenway Park. Patriots announced the dates of their training camp practices yesterday. The first one, 11 a.m., July 24th. And Jeremy Roenick, Pavel Datsyuk, and former Montreal defenseman Shea Weber were among those elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame yesterday. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Canteen Vodka Soda. Canteen's ready-to-drink cocktails have just 99 calories, 0 carbs, and 0 sugar. Perfect for the golf course, the backyard, or your next tailgate party. Canteen Vodka Soda. Drink better. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
Celtics. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
My mother yesterday, and I said to her, she's 82. My father's 82. My father used to pace around the house in his underwear. We had a circle, like kitchen, like foyer, living room, dining room, like this like small circle that you could walk. And he would walk it and like just pace, like worrying about work. He worried. He was a real prick, and then he retired, and then he got much nicer. Work like took a lot out of him. And I said to my mom, I said, now that Dad looks back, because he doesn't talk on the phone. I said, now you think that Dad looks back at his life and he realizes that he thinks to himself, wow, I wasted so much time worrying about things that I didn't have to be worrying about. Like, you think that he goes back, like if he could go back in time, do you think he would have not given himself that kind of obsessive anxiety? Like, wouldn't life have been better? And so what would you think that your mother would say at that point? She would go, you're working. You're in a rather high competitive job. You would think that your mother would say, oh, yes, Freddie, these are the things, the wisdom that comes with being 82. You realize that I spend all this time worrying about trivial matters when all that matters is love and family and things of that nature. She goes, no. His brain was broken. He's got a messed up brain. It drove me crazy, but no. I said, you don't think that Dad would wish that it was all for nothing, that he was worried about nothing, that none of the things he was afraid about happened? You don't think he would wish that didn't happen? No. That's what drives him. I said, so the anxiety and the pain is what drove him. It all paid off. I don't know, Freddie. Thank you, Mom.
Jeez. How often do you speak to your mother each week?
3 times a week. And I'm going there this week.
Oh, good.
But I wanted like some sort of like, yes, of course, Fred. Like, like we all spend so much time worrying about things.
Even as a parent who deals with a child who has these conversations through the years, you can kind of feel that out. You've had this, your child is looking for encouragement, looking for good, kind words.
Even if, don't tell me what I'm looking for if that's not the case, but wouldn't you assume, like she's religious and stuff, wouldn't you assume that that's what she's walked away from in life? And then I said, I said, all right. And she goes, I can't speak for your father. I go, of course you can't, Mom.
You've only been married
You've only been for 100 years. Of course you can't speak for him. So I said, how about you? I go, are there things that, because my mom's a big worrier too. I go, are there things that you fretted about that you realize now that you didn't have to? And she goes, I don't know, no. And I go, well, what's something that you worried about a lot? I don't know, you getting into college. And I go, do you think that you worrying about me getting into college help me get into college in any way? And she's like, I don't know. Oh, Ma. I said, are you religious? She goes, yes. She goes, in fact, I was at an outing with these women in the church. And I said, well, what kind of solace do you get out of the religion? Like, what are you getting out of it? And she goes, well, I'm going to die soon. And I go, yeah. But what are you getting out of the religion? She goes, well, dying.
Right. And
I go, oh, okay. And I go, what about dying? She goes, well, I'm gonna die.
Right.
And I'm like,
preparing her for death.
Well, yeah,
that's what religion is.
So it's going, but like, I'm like, is there any wisdom that you've? I go, Mom, I'm asking you for wisdom, and she goes, huh? And I go, very good. You're completely out of your mind. I gotta go. I gotta go to the shrink. I gotta go talk to someone with a brain in their head.
Maybe the religion is giving her solace that she will go to heaven or some better place.
She didn't say that. She, as a matter of fact, I'm not giving her enough credit.
Your mother won't speak for your father, but I'll speak for your mother.
All right, hang on.
That's what she.
All right, you're interrupting me.
I'm sorry.
Here's what she said. I said, well, she goes, well, I also don't know what's going to happen when I die. She actually said that. She said, I don't know what's going to happen when you die. I go, oh, you're not kidding, huh? You don't know? You're the one? Thanks a lot. I'm like, what does religion give you? Just something to look at? You're just sitting there, like, just looking at stuff? I mean, God bless her. I hope that's what happens when you get older. Your brain completely shuts off. Maybe it's for the best.
Maybe she's doing all this so she doesn't have to worry.
No, she did worry. Huh?
Well,
that would have been nice if she said that, but she didn't say that. That was what I was looking for. I found through all these years and all the life I've lived and all the religious teachings that I've had, I have found that ultimately that our life is a transitional space, and that when you look back at all the trivial things that we've worried about and this, that, and the third. And
he was hoping she would say she had let go. His parents had let go of whatever suffering and pain. And in reality, what he found out is no, they're hanging on to all of that for dear life.
Thank you, John. You've encapsulated it nicely. Thank you.
Some kind of encouragement for my coming years. Yes, you can let go.
And she was
I'm holding on to it.
And she was being defensive, and I'm like, Mom, I'm actually coming to you for wisdom. Like this is something that I'm looking to you for wisdom. And she's like, huh? And I'm like, very good. Thank you. This has been a very nice talk. You should go into psychotherapy.
We should have her on when we all get back from vacation. It'll be great.
We really shouldn't have her on. I would be all for it, but we really shouldn't have her on.
Why don't you get some audio while you're down there of some of your conversations?
Maybe we all could benefit from that.
I don't want to do that. I don't know, because it won't be funny, because she'll inherently know something's going on. I can try.
That's why you record her in secret.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
That's your mother.
I don't have her. It's not like she's going to sue me, but it's also she'll know something's going on. She'll figure it out. She probably thought I was taping her yesterday. That's probably why she was being so aloof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to just go, yeah. She goes, I don't know. Ask your father. Well, he doesn't talk on the phone. Like, I don't want to call up Dad. It'd be weird.
I like that about him.
I can tell that to my son all the time. I said, like every time he gives me grief, I'm like, what am I doing right now? He's like driving me in the car. I go, all right, well, already you have it over me, because my dad never did this. Not one time. I never sat in his car. He took me to Kmart one time. I talked about this with my mom. One time he took me to Kmart. Oh. Kmart on Orchard Lake Road between 13 and 12 Mile. Not a far drive.
Did you
half a mile from my house.
Did you get a frozen Coke?
Yes, I did get a frozen Coke.
Or did you get a frozen cherry? Those were the two.
Frozen Coke. I was OG even back then.
Two choices.
But so I would like call your father. All right, why don't I go to the moon too while I'm at it? Like I'll do that. And he'll answer right away. And he'll know exactly what's going on.
Dan makes a good point. Didn't you drive you to that baseball camp?
Oh, Tom Amansky.
You thought you would go to Disney World, and he wound up at Tom Amansky. He drove you there.
Yeah, he told me that I was going to Disney World, and then he instead took me to Tom Amansky at Boardwalk and Baseball, which was like a 2-hour drive.
Drove you right there.
And then threw me in front of Tom Amansky, and I didn't know what was going on.
That's cruel.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's not good at all.
Yeah. And then I'm like, look at how much your grandson's into baseball. He like loves it. It's like his favorite thing. And he's like, I'm like, all right, very good.
Don't care.
I'm like, this kind of makes up for me. And he's like, and what do I know?
It is kind of ironic that your father doesn't care that Milo's so good at this sport.
Nah, he that's not unfair. I mean, like he cares, but he doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, I do.
Like he cares and like he's happy about it, but he I mean, and Milo don't want to talk to him any more than he wants to talk to Milo. So, like, what are we doing here? I mean, they're happy we're coming.
Oh my God!
This is something else.
It's not bad. It sounds worse than it is.
You
know what I'm saying.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying. Like, my dad doesn't particularly want to talk to Milo on the phone, and Milo certainly doesn't want to talk to my dad on the phone. So it's not like they don't like each other. They get along great. But I mean, does your dad want to talk to your kids? No. Like, really? Does he really want to talk? And your kids certainly don't want to talk to your dad.
My dad
I can assure you that.
My dad called my son by the wrong name consistently. Called him Kevin.
Yeah.
His name is Calvin.
Yeah. Your dad a lot like my dad.
Yeah.
They're those. Yeah. Yeah. My dad's like not like you think your dad knows your kid's birthday, or maybe because they're twins. Yeah, but my dad certainly does not. All right, and I don't even hold that against him. I don't intend to know my grandkids' birthdays either. All right, we'll be right back in just a moment.
You're listening to
round of the NBA draft since 2020. Round number 1 is tonight in Brooklyn. The Green have the 30th and final selection of the evening. They also have pick number 54 overall tomorrow night. The team also announced yesterday Kristaps Porzingis will undergo surgery to repair the dislocated tendon in his leg, and as a result, he will not play for Latvia in Olympic qualifying next month. In other NBA news, we had a massive trade involving the Brooklyn Nets late last night. The Nets sent Mikal Bridges to the Knicks for Bojan Bogdanovic, 5 first-round draft picks, a pick swap, and a second-round selection. Then they got their first-round picks from 2025 and 26 back from Houston. At Fenway Park last night, Red Sox starter Brian Bayo had a real tough night at the office.
Like that. That's what I mean by cheap.
This is deep. This is gone! Springer hits it out into the Red Sox bullpen. And it is 7-2.
That is Blue Jays television. Bayo allowed 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings of work on the way to a 9-4 Sox loss. Vlad Guerrero, 4 RBIs for the visitors. Rafael Devers and Tyler O'Neill both hit 2-run homers for the Red Sox. Cutter Crawford will face the Jays tonight. The Patriots have announced the dates for all of their training camp practices. The first workout is on July 24th. And Jeremy Roenick, Pavel Datsyuk, and former Montreal defenseman Shea Weber were among those elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame yesterday. Datsyuk and Weber go in on their very first try. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern MedTech. Are you currently using a CPAP machine and tired of the painful process of ordering supplies for your CPAP? Eastern MedTech of New England has the widest selection of CPAP supplies, all in stock and available to ship immediately. Visit easternmedtech.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's Home for Sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub and subscribe. Joe Murray is the other show that's on YouTube. The other 2 shows on every day are Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Mads, and they are on television. And My Great Wisdom, for some reason, we bagged out on the television thing, where right now we'd be making real bread, baby. Hey, but we bagged out of it. But Joe Murray is also on YouTube, and Joe Murray is a very unique personality. He does very well in the ratings. And Hardy, we've been investigating his show a little bit because it is like a town hall, basically.
I love his show. I got in the car last night for like 20 seconds just to move my car, and it was at that glorious 8:45 break where they are doing In or Out. And just the music's thumping in the background, and they are really taking their time and really investigating all of these topics. Every thought is allowed to breathe. It's like a prairie home companion for Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's very, very
glorious.
And people enjoy food.
Yeah, and they love talking about it. Now, one guy called in a couple of nights ago, and he was upset about the brisket conversation that had taken place earlier in the show. So we heard that call yesterday, Fred, the guy who was upset about the original call. We never got to the original call. So we went back, found the original call. That's what we're going to hear now. This was what instigated the discord that happened later on in the show. But this is the call that started it all on Joe Murray's show 2 nights ago.
So that's a guy that I would get in on, and people in our chat are saying that there's better barbecue in Texas too, or is it here? What do you think?
The barbecue, man, is unbelievable. The brisket, I'm telling you, I think we've hit every single spot that's like within 5 miles of our house.
Is the brisket burnt ends, or how do they serve it?
Well, you can do the burnt ends, but a lot of time it's just they slice it by the pound, so they slice it right in front of you. It's unbelievable.
By the way, the call we heard yesterday went on for 3 minutes, and then they started talking Celtics. I believe this was a 3-minute call about football, and then they get into the brisket.
Like what else you got?
Yeah,
you called in.
Right.
We're not done with this yet.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk about the real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if there's other things on your mind, we're not going to cut it off with just your...
Whoa. You only been on for 3 minutes.
Yeah, we got 5 hours here.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I mean, come on. What else? How's the family? What's going on? How you doing? So anyway...
Don't rush me, boy.
What's the weather like where you are?
It's hot in Texas.
No, not even. Like, is it hot in Walpole?
That's right.
I don't know. What's going on? I don't know, guys. I think it's over people's heads.
That's a front move through.
What? He's talking about Texas. I'm confused. We are not in Texas. Well, I'll be.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah.
What are your favorite sides with brisket?
I mean, just letting it ride, baby.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing that you'll never hear another sports talk show or show.
No.
Where the guy's just willing to go, all right, not only I'm going to let you BS about Texas barbecue out of the blue, I'm going to press the issue.
We got the brisket. We covered the burn ends. We covered the thing. We got it by the pound. We got it sliced. We got all this. Like, now it's time to talk about sides.
They slice it in front of you, by the way.
When I asked him about the sides.
Okay. Well, let's hear.
Oh, so they make this. It's a sweet potato casserole, and it has almonds and stuff.
The guy's like on the phone so long he has to start doing chores. Like in the background.
What was going on? He's like doing dishes.
Yeah, like he's like, I've been on this for a long time. Like, you know when you talk to someone for like a half an hour and you're like doing other stuff?
You're getting dressed. You're brushing your teeth
Exactly.
while you're on the phone.
You're on the speaker.
Well, he got up and now he's like leaving work. He's like, the day's over.
To catch the train. Oh, man.
Shutting the door.
Yeah, he's like, well, yeah, the Acela just got to New York. Thanks. Thanks for killing the ride.
Yeah, it's got almonds and can you hand me my briefcase? Brown sugar, I think, in it. Yeah.
And it has almonds and stuff. Almonds and brown sugar. It's like eating like pie. It's unbelievable.
I like pie.
If you were having this
conversation, pay attention. Come on.
Do you think you have conversations with your friends like this on the phone anymore? You used to.
Pie.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do. So do I, pal. Got that right.
Yeah, who doesn't, right? And
yeah, who doesn't? I mean, hey, that's something even in Saugus. What about the South Shore? Do you guys like pie? Peabody.
You got pie down in Taunton. What about Raynham?
Plymouth. Can I hear about the pie?
Yeah, who doesn't, right? And the macaroni and cheese. Always got to go with the mac and cheese.
So casserole and mac and cheese, huh?
Yeah. So, it's like, because you can have, like, dessert, too. I don't know if you ever had that banana pudding that they have down in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. I don't think he has. Yeah, whatever. You keep talking.
Oh, you think he just kind of shaking that off? He's kind of, let's go.
I think he has a sand timer, and he just turns it over, and then just looks at the sand leaving the top, and then, yeah.
Down in Texas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, love that, too. Yep.
Skaz, we should do a segment called Right, where people just call in and be like, Joe, you got to try this. And just play me going,
By the way, if you couldn't tell, I edited out about the last 2 minutes of that call.
By the way,
when he starts talking to Skaz.
Scalebreakers.com.
Girlfriend, things that make you go. Things that make you go. Things that make you go.
I like pie. Right, when people just call in and be like, Joe, you got to try this. and just play me going,
I have a feeling we have a lot of those calls coming this summer.
When I asked him about the sides.
Now he's just smoking a cigarette, reflecting on the phone call.
The sexuality of the phone call.
Do you remember when I was talking about the sides, Skaz? Remember just then? Remember 2 minutes ago when I was...
When I asked him about the sides.
Oh. Yeah, that was great, Joe. Thanks, buddy. That really was. So, more time.
When I asked him about the sides, he went right to that sweet potato casserole dish with almonds and brown sugar. And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Banana pudding.
And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve Murray.
Just eat a banana.
You got to get banana pudding.
Brown sugar. Casserole dish with almonds.
I like the recap of the phone call. Look, we just had this super boring phone call. Now let's go back and bask in it.
And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Let me clean up here. Oh. Dude, remember? This is like waking up the next morning. Like, what did we do last night? I blacked out for a second there.
When I asked him about the sides.
Oh, remember
and the
that,
sister
dude?
came in.
Remember? You guys remember? She was holding all that lotion.
Brown sugar. And then he talked about the banana pudding. Need a little Celtics cookout at the end of the year, you know?
Yeah, you got to brand it.
Wow. It's fantastic.
Need a little Celtics cookout. And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Wow. That plus size bottle just farted. There's 4 300-pound women in the sauna. This lady left a dirty bib.
Need a little Celtics cookout at the end of the year, you know? Just before everybody goes, just one last cookout.
Get your sniff ready, friend. You got the sniff ready?
I can get it ready because I can tell you visually exactly what it was.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, you ready?
I am ready.
Do you ever fart in a glass and put a cover on it and then throw it in someone's face?
What was that again?
Do you ever fart in a glass and put a cover on it and then throw it in someone's face?
You know, Kathy Bates is selling used socks on the internet. Oh, boy.
He also was doing a segment, I believe, same show. This was Friday night when they were talking about Shrek, the new Shrek 5 coming out.
Yeah.
And he was having difficulty with a word that it's not an everyday word, but.
What is a baby donkey called? A F-O-A-L. Foal?
Oh, man.
A foal is a baby male or female donkey up to 1 year old.
Oh,
It's the first time you'd ever heard the word foal.
And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Keith Smith will talk to us about the NBA draft, which the first pick might be the tall kid out of UConn. Much to John's dismay, John, who correctly went to the game and labeled him a real bust, now might be going number 1 in the draft. You know, the Celtics have 2 picks. They're saying that they can't trade him because of whatever rules. They're saying
The new CBA rules?
Yeah, they're saying it'd be very tough to trade him, so he is conceivably going to take 2 players, Brad Stevens, tonight.
Bronny
and the next
James,
day.
the pick before the Lakers go at 54.
I wouldn't even give him the satisfaction. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Girlfriend, things that make you go. Things that make you go. Things that make you go.
I like pie.
Might be the kid that has the best NBA future ahead of him. Who knows?
Yep.
But the Celtics indeed have 2 picks, and it looks like they're going to have to take players with them because that's what Brad Stevens was saying. So what indeed is going to happen? It is the sporting event going on this evening. So Keith Smith, we've had him on a bunch of times, NBA writer, contributor to NBA Front Office Show. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Mr. Smith, thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's start at the top of the draft. There is intrigue with the Atlanta Hawks because a kid wouldn't work out for them. So my question is this: is there a consensus number 1 pick? And if there is that the guy that wouldn't work out for him? And where does this leave Atlanta with the first pick?
Yeah, things are kind of split between Alex Sarr, that's the guy that wouldn't work out for the Hawks, and Zachary Risache is the other player that's in the mix. That most draft experts have one of those 2 players as the top player in this draft class. There's also some slight intrigue in there that the Hawks may draft Donovan Clingan of UConn. They apparently really like him, but one of the thought processes there is that could be more if they were to trade out of number 1. That's unlikely to happen, but that could be the way that goes down. So that's where we're looking. I've had some suggest to me that the Sarr stuff is a smokescreen, that the Hawks may take him after all, but it looks like as of right now it'll probably be Zachary Risache.
We've talked to a couple of different people leading up to tonight, and the overall consensus seems to be that this is one of the weaker drafts in recent memory. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think especially in terms of top-end star power right now, there's no one that anyone is looking at and saying that guy is a for sure all-star player within the next few years or anything like that. It's not even sure how much the long-term future is for these guys developing a top-end talents. But what there is pretty good depth of players. So a lot of teams are going to come away with guys who should be long-term rotation players in the NBA, whether that be a decade-long career, things like that's good. It's just that top-end star power is missing out of this draft class. Someone will develop into an all-star because it happens every time we have a draft that looks like this, but we just don't know who that's going to be.
Those 3 guys you were talking about at the top of the draft, where would they be taken in a normal year, do you think? Low lottery, lower than that, higher than that?
Yeah, probably mid to low lottery is where you would see most of those grades come in on those guys. Like, for example, last year or the year before, they're probably coming off the board around the 7 to 10 range at the earliest. And then maybe after that, a few picks later, that's just, kind of where this draft class is at.
Does it help that there are, especially when you're looking whether the Celtics are picking, does it help that there are some upperclassmen in this draft, some older guys that are coming out that could be first-round picks just in terms of their NBA readiness? Is there some advantage to that?
I think so, yeah. And I think what you're going to see is teams like Boston, who don't have a lot of roster spots to fill, maybe don't want to work through a project player because they're trying to win. They probably want a guy who is more ready to step in and give them minutes if they need them right away. So teams like the Celtics, the Bucks, the Suns, the potentially the Warriors, the Clippers, those sorts of teams that are going to be very expensive, they are looking for cost-controlled talent. But it has to be cost-controlled talent that can step in and play. You'll take a project with your second-round pick, put him in Maine for the year, and we'll see. But like Brad Stevens said yesterday, there's no real room to crack this rotation, and it's going to be hard for any rookie. But what you want that rookie to do is be kind of part of what they call the stay ready group. Be part of that. Be ready to go when your number is called. But I think if they pick somebody at 30, most of his minutes are probably going to come in Maine.
Okay, so can you give us some examples of guys that could be as needed emergency guys that are upperclassmen that the Celtics could be interested in?
Yeah, I think you could see at the end if they wanted to go with, like, at the end of the first round, if you wanted to go with a point guard, a kid like Tyler Kolek could be there for them. Baylor Shireman, the Kolek's a point guard out of Marquette. Shireman is a wing shooter out of Creighton. Those are guys. Deron Holmes is another guy. He's coming out of Dayton. He's a big, can switch between the 4 and the 5. Those players were in college for several years. If you start to go a little bit lower, you could go with a guy like Adem Bana, who's coming out of UCLA. He's a guy who could come in there. Bobby Clintman, who played at Wake Forest, then moved over and played professionally in Australia, is another guy that you could see there if they go with targeting an older player that can come in and play right away for them if they need him to.
Does Bronny James get picked tonight?
Yeah, here's the deal. I before we ask if he gets picked tonight, I want to ask you this because I was saving it because it does show you how the college basketball might be struggling a little bit. The name everyone is most interested in is a kid that is not good. But if Bronny James was Leo Schmegel and out of Creighton and was a freshman, where would he be taken in this draft? Would he be taken in this draft?
If a team really fell in love with his defensive potential, probably the same place he's going to be taken anyway, which will be at the end of the second round. I think his absolute floor is the Lakers pick at 55, because I think at that point you say, fine, we'll throw you the ball and we'll draft the kid and bring him in and put him on a two-way. They already said he won't sign a two-way, but we'll put him in the G League, let him develop there, because anybody we were going to pick, a couple with that pick, will be probably available as an undrafted free agent anyway. So we'll just pick these guys and we'll just kind of load it up that way and, have a good story and make everybody happy with this. But yeah, he likely wouldn't be drafted if he didn't have the pedigree. There's a whole thing right now about drafting players who have a lineage to them, where those guys have actually turned out to end up being pretty good. And there's a chance Bronny maybe develops to play, but it's crazy. And I'll say this, anybody who put money down on him being the number 1 overall pick is insane. They should have just, I wish I had known that was a thing. I would have sent everybody my contact, could have sent that money to me, and I would have put it to better use.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of lineage, you think of like Steph Curry, and he's kind of good. Sure. Like, he was, and it was good in college. I mean, that was the thing, is that he was, I mean, based on college production, he would have been even a higher pick. He was special. Bronny James is not a large gentleman and can't score. Is this the best thing? If you cover these things, you're in depth with these prospects. You probably know even back to AAU and all this stuff. Is this the best thing for Bronny James's career? Like, if he wanted to be a professional basketball player, is getting drafted by the Lakers the best thing for him? Or would he be better being an unsigned free agent, like going into the G League or something like that and making his way, or staying in college?
Sure. Yeah. If I had been advising, I probably would have said stay in school, get one really good normal year under your belt, because people shouldn't forget, even despite all these, LeBron's son, he had the heart condition, which kept him out from the summertime through half the season. So have a normal year of summer work, a normal season, and see where it all goes from there. But he's in the draft and he's moving forward that way. So there's two schools of thought, right? Part of it, one would be go somewhere else away from dad, where you develop out of the limelight and people care only to the extent of it's a cool story for 5 minutes and then everybody moves on. Or the thought process could be, well, with the Lakers, you're going to have some cachet there, and they're not going to be like, well, let's cut him loose after a month or two of watching it go. They're going to be invested in his development. They're going to do everything they can to get him there. The reality is he's going to be a late second round pick, and the hit rate on those guys is pretty low anyway. So I still go back to, if you really want to kind of put everybody in a spot where, hey, this is a great story, it's going to make sense, he's probably going to the Lakers tomorrow night.
All right, and just the final question on Bronny James. If he would have been healthy and played on UConn last year, would he have been in the rotation?
He would have been because of his defense. He can really defend. That part would have been they would have found a way to fit him in there with the other talented offensive players they had. And then I think there is a chance he still could be a pretty good playmaker. The problem is going to be, is he going to shoot it consistently? That's what's going to determine everything for him going forward.
Keith, while we have you here, a massive trade in the NBA last night involving a lot of first-round picks. Mikal Bridges goes to the Knicks. 5 first-round picks, a pick swap, a second-round pick, and that's an absurd price to pay for that guy. What do you think of the deal?
Yeah, you said it. It's absurd. This is crazy that the Knicks, who held so firm on we're not going to put extra stuff into a trade for Donovan Mitchell, they sent out all these draft picks for a player who's never been an all-star. And most look at it and say, hey, if Mikal Bridges is your third best guy, you're probably a pretty good team. If he's your fourth best guy, you're a really good team. But the Knicks now just took themselves out of the running. There'd been all these rumors that, hey, if Joel Embiid's ever unhappy, they're going to be all over trying to get him. Well, that's out the window. And any other unhappy superstar, that's out the window because you don't have the draft capital to go get those guys. This is one where I think the Nets knew we were moving him. Like, it very much came down to, all right, we're open to doing this. We're going to kick off a full-scale rebuild here. And I think they got the Knicks a little over a barrel where it was, all right, let's get a deal done now. What is it going to take? And I get it. They're loading up on wings to try to chase down Boston and all those things. But I kind of look at it as, okay, you did it, but you're still not a better team than a team that's in your own division. So that's just a tough spot to be in. And now you don't have any flexibility moving forward to do the next big thing that comes along.
Do you think that they think they're getting Donovan Mitchell next year?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's out the window. I think everybody thinks Mitchell's going to sign an extension with the Cavs, and then we know how that goes. If he's 2 years into that and he's not happy, he'll ask for a trade then. But I think for now, everybody's kind of collectively moved on from the Donovan Mitchell hopes because it looks like he's definitely going to extend in Cleveland.
Yeah, Bridges is the third best player on the Knicks roster, and they just spent 5 first-round draft picks to get him.
What are the picks? What 5 over how many years?
It's 5 through 2031.
Yeah.
So it's like every
7
other
years.
year, plus a Bucks pick that they had, plus a pick swap. So
okay, but so it's more
everything they could send.
Yeah, so it's more. It's not even like the value of the picks. More, it's just that they got rid of them, and now that they don't have them, to get someone better.
Correct.
All right. Very
Yeah,
good.
yep.
Yeah. All right. There you have it. Well, Keith, good luck tonight keeping track of who these guys are. That will be.
I appreciate it.
Very exciting for you.
We'll be on Tyler Kolek watch here in Boston.
Yeah,
Tyler Kolek. Massachusetts kid.
Baylor Shearman.
All right. There you go. NBA front office show. Thank you so much, Keith. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. There you go. All right. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs in college basketball. At least, though, there's kids from Connecticut that won the national title. So, in a way, maybe it's good. Because at least you've heard of some of these guys.
I was just going to say, start picking guys that I've watched. Klingon is a defensive guy. He's a less athletic Robert Williams type of player, but at least I've heard of him. I've seen him. I've watched him. Those 2 kids from France that he was talking about, no one's ever seen them play outside of the highlights you can find on YouTube.
And the kid from Tennessee is a great story.
Yeah, he could go 5, 6, 7.
I mean, he's a great story. He was a nobody, and then in 1 year, he was given a shot. It was the early season game where he went off because Tennessee didn't even know if they were going to play him.
Yep.
So I mean, he had one shot. It was an M&M situation. He had one opportunity.
Yep.
Mom's spaghetti style. So he's actually a great story.
But
then Zach Edey's going to be fun to see where he gets taken. And then
this will tell you everything you need to know about the NBA draft coming up tonight. He's projected to go anywhere from 7 to 21.
Right. And he's, one-dimensional kid. I still think that he can play in the NBA.
He can play in the NBA, just he's never going to – I don't think he'll start.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that –
Ever.
But you could there are going to be guys taken ahead of him that cannot play in the NBA.
Of course not.
Right.
Someone's going to take a flyer on a kid from Europe who's going to fail miserably.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying too, John, is that the range, it's anybody's guess. There are
outside of the top 3 kids
14 spots where he could.
You could throw the next 14 guys in a hat and just pick them out and give them to anybody.
Right.
And by the way, Bronny James, I like that he played because of his defense. The kid's 6'1". Defense?
Not in this league. No.
6'1" defender.
No.
Who's he defending? at 6'1"?
Nobody. There are maybe 5 guys in the league that can play regular minutes that are under 6'3".
So a guy who can't shoot,
Pritchard.
can't score. A guy who can't shoot, well, Pritchard can shoot and score. A guy who can't shoot, can't score.
No, you're saying who would he defend? It's got to be like,
then
tiny guys.
you know what I might do is set a pick on him.
Force him to cover a bigger fella.
Yeah, and then I might get him to switch, and then if he switches,
hadn't thought of that.
I might run an old switcheroo on the fella.
By the way, same thing with the Celtics. Just pick someone I've heard of. That's all I
there's the
care
guys from Clemson. You watch Clemson; they were fun.
this guy Shireman from Creighton went to the Sweet 16 of the tournament. I've seen him play.
Guys.
He's like a lefty Sam Hauser, Shireman.
Oof, that's almost too sexy.
Yep.
That's almost like The Stranger. A lefty Sam Hauser? That's like sitting on your hand.
Stranger.
A lefty Sam Hauser. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm so used to that sweet right stroke.
Yep.
All right. We will be back. Have you heard of this Ryan Garcia fella? He made quite a spectacle of himself. We will have that for you in just a moment. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Who is Ryan Garcia there, Hardy, hard?
Ryan Garcia is he's a fighter, and he is taking some time away from his sport. He failed a couple of pre-fight drug tests. One of his wins, I guess, was overturned as a result of that test. So he's taking some time away from boxing. He's a boxer, Wally? Ryan Garcia?
He's a boxer, yes.
Good. Because you don't know anymore. You say fighter, and it could be, one
That's
of
right.
these.
Could be MMA, could be bare knuckle, it could be anything.
You would assume it's MMA at this point.
Yeah.
What would be
Almost.
the point of boxing?
Almost. But he was at a poker tournament where he was sitting next to several luminaries, including Jimmy Butler, who is also a poker player. So, this is
How boring.
Well, watching poker on TV, I never get tired of watching these guys.
I never get tired of hearing the fart that I've heard millions times.
Well, with their headphones on and their sunglasses on, saying nothing and just shuffling their checks.
Yeah, that was a real bogus kind of trend, like that whole poker thing. Like, it's funny how society is. Like how fads go. Like, remember the poker fad? Like, they insisted on it, like celebrity poker and this and that, and it's just boring.
How long did that lasted? A lot longer than I thought it would. 4 years, maybe? 5?
Yeah,
It's a good amount of time.
Enough for Scott Stapp to make an ass of himself, but
enough for the movie Rounders to be made.
Yeah, and it's like gambling's like fun and exciting and everything, but poker's just laborious and boring, and it's math. It sucks to watch. It sucks to play.
So
it's the worst part of the casino.
Not my neighbor who was the manager at the Crazy Horse too, but my neighbor across the street in Las Vegas. His name was John, and he worked at like a plumbing supply company. But when this poker boom started happening in the 90s, he left the plumbing business and he told me, I'm going back to playing poker. Like, what do you mean back? He goes, that's what I used to do. And he made it to a couple of big tables, like World Series tables, and won like 50 or 100 grand. And I said, why are you going back? He said, because all these dummies are coming out to Las Vegas because they think they can play poker. And he said, you have no chance against somebody like me who I've decided this is now once again my job. And I will go to the Mirage or I'll go to one of these poker rooms at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'll sit down with whatever it takes to buy in for that day. And he said, I got nothing else to do. I don't have dinner reservations. I don't have show tickets. I'm not meeting the rest of the guys from the convention at 8 o'clock. And I will just sit there and wait for them to make the mistake. And he said, you need an ass made of leather and the patience of a saint. He said, and I got them both. And I'll just sit there all day.
That seems like such a horrible way to make a living.
But he said, it's fine. Sit there.
I'd rather be a plumber.
Eat. And he was working as a plumbing supply guy. He was behind a counter all day.
I might rather be behind the counter than playing poker.
Me too, but he obviously he knew the game well enough to where he could actually play at times. He said, but for the most part, it was just waiting these guys out because he said the best kitchen table player in all of Milwaukee stands no chance against a guy like me and a couple of my buddies who are locals. And he's like, no, we'll just show up and wait for you to get anxious or get bored or get impatient. And that's when we'll take all of your money and then you leave and we'll just wait for the next guy. And he would play for 6, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, and that's what he went back to doing.
All right. What happened with this?
So this is the setup. This is the host, a guy named Alan Keating, and he's talking with Ryan Garcia and another boxer there, and this is just kind of setting things up.
We've got a strange group of people that probably wouldn't be together if it wasn't for poker, but here we are tonight. We've got athletes, boxers, basketball player. We got streamers from all over the world.
Wow, you have athletes and basketball players and terrible announcers that can't even put two sentences together.
Streamers, they have streamers, Fred.
This is the other thing you get for poker, too. The announcers are fantastic.
I mean, they're real pieces of garbage. Athletes and basketball players and streamers.
We're looking forward to it. So I'm going to pull up a few people and interview them for you guys. What are you expecting?
So far, so good. I'm expecting you to play about 97% of hands, and I'm going to probably play about 99. So.
Is this a bit of a challenge?
It is, indeed.
Oh, you have me in your sights. All right, man. I'm glad you're here.
Brother.
Tyler, this is our second time doing this, you remember?
I can't wait, dude. Your first time was unforgettable, you know what I mean? Unforgettable, dude.
Mr. Eubank, the world champ. I'm glad you're here because I go to your boxing matches. Now you're here for a hustler match. What do you think's going to happen today?
What? Huh? What?
I
hustle match. Stains. You know the Stains after hustle match. They're very hard to get out.
A hustler match. What do you think's going to happen today?
I think the bullets are going to get sent. I think there's going to be some action. I think there's going to be a lot of big pots.
All right, very good, very good.
Dynamite analysis.
How you doing, Daddy? It's great to see you, bro. Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Of course. I know you're busy and everything. You had this historical, incredible fight.
Oh, thank you. Life ain't going that good. Devin Haney's a bitch. He slept with P. Diddy. He had massive sex with him.
All right, wait, whoa, slow your roll. See, they lull you to sleep like your friend, the poker player. They lull you to sleep with their boring crap, and then boom. So this is the Garcia guy talking.
Oh, yeah.
What is he saying? You translate this for me. What is he? Mike Lockhart, you get in here. What's he saying?
Yeah, he's talking about Devin Haney, who he beat last time, and then the drug test came back and it got overturned. So apparently there's all these pictures of Devin Haney hanging out at P. Diddy's house, shirtless in his pool with him.
Yeah, with all the allegations and all the terrible things that you've seen P. Diddy do, and if you read complex.com or something, or listen to these guys in the hip-hop community talk about it, all they're concerned about is gay stuff.
Yeah.
That's their only concern.
What about the human trafficking? No.
It's
he
like the gay
kissed a
stuff.
man.
Like, what about the? It's like the homophobia is really, really outrageous. Like, he just beat the hell out of this woman. It's like on camera, and they're like, yeah, that sucks and everything, but like he's gay,
right?
Like, well, that's like the least of it. You would
nasty.
think.
Of course. I know you're busy and everything. You had this historical, incredible fight.
Oh, thank you. Life ain't going that good. Devin Haney's a bitch. He slept with P. Diddy. He had massive sex with him. Then I beat his ass, and he sues me.
Hey, yo. And he's about to sue you again. All right, let's break. And when we come back, Garcia seemed to have a few cocktails. And I can guarantee you that these announcers are going to handle this well. They're going to get. I haven't heard it, but I have a feeling they step in and really get this.
Steer the conversation in the right direction,
or stop talking to him, or get a microphone.
What about poker?
Or remove him from the premises.
But when he's actually playing poker and he keeps talking about these things, I don't know if you can say anything.
Well, you could remove him.
Why? This is the only reason to watch.
Because I'm liable, perhaps, for some of this if this goes down. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. It's 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. There's a community there of people talking
about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's not even about the show, which is kind of good. I guess that's the point of it. So you can go make friends on there. And it's a fellowship. And there's I'll tell you this, is that we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. We got into the whole thing about how boring poker is, but there was a celebrity poker tournament and a boxer by the name of Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
They're introducing all these lame guys, and then all of a sudden Ryan Garcia gets the mic and says,
Devin Haney's a bitch. He slept with P. Diddy. He had massive sex with him. Then I beat his ass, and he sues me.
Hey, yo. All right, so there you go. So,
hey, ho!
That's what he says on mic. The guy that he had fought last, he says, had gay sex with P. Diddy, which, again, in the hip-hop community is like the mortal sin. Like, this is what everyone's very concerned about getting caught up in. Not human trafficking or, like, girlfriend, spousal abuse or anything like that. It's the gay stuff, which is pretty fascinating. All right, and what happens next? So they allow this guy to sit at the table.
Yeah, so then they're going to go play some poker. And he's sitting there at a table, and Jimmy Butler's at the table. And, Ryan Garcia doesn't necessarily need anyone to talk to. He just is talking.
Yeah, and the good thing about having someone completely out of control during a poker tournament is there's so much to distract you. You know, like there's so much crosstalk and action. It's actually the worst place in the world. It's like having a machine gun in a library. Like, everyone's going to hear everything you say. There's nothing going on. Poker is insanely boring.
But I think somebody actually does engage him here, which seems to be a horrible idea.
Well, this is the guy Jimmy Butler just mixing stuff up, going, I'm rich and I don't need this.
Well, this is the guy who you would probably most want to ignore if you're actually sitting at the table. But, well... What
kind of drugs? Steroids. Classic. Classic. Hey, classic.
Classic. You know that one bicycle guy? Lance?
Oh, Lance Armstrong?
Yeah, he did
that. The bicycle guy, Lance? Come on.
Good way to interrupt. If you're going to have this lunatic spouting off stuff, maybe shut up.
But somebody asked him, what kind of drugs? What kind of drugs he test positive for? Like the bicycle guy.
Yeah, it's good to know. What were you putting in your body? Oh, I don't know. You know that guy that played the flute? Whatever that stuff was. I don't know. I just let him stick me with stuff.
Oh, Lance Armstrong?
Yeah, he did that.
The bicycle guy, Lance? Come on.
When I grow up, I want to be just like him.
It's called clomiphene.
The bicycle guy? Put some respect on my name.
Clint Buterl?
No, clomiphene.
A billionth of gram of oxygen, that means the lowest possible amount. Has absolutely no benefit.
Yeah.
Crazy. Bro, you know I don't cheat.
I know. So give me the hotel story. Why can they just charge you money there? I don't understand.
All right. So he was arrested for trashing a hotel room.
Oh, so he's had a couple minor offenses.
Yeah, it's not a one-time offender, no.
I got to give it to the guy who's encouraging him at the table, though. Because that I like. Put some respect on his name. Way to focus on the Lance Armstrong reference, stupid. You have a real hot wire here. If you're going to let him go, let him go. Well, that's Lance Armstrong, the bicycle guy. He's Lance Armstrong, after all. What do you... Put some respect on his name. Let the maniac... What are you going to say, Charles Manson? Like, slow down, Charlie. Like, you're not making any sense here.
Bro, they got your card on file. They know you got money. Like, why don't they just charge you?
What?
The hotel thing where they...
Bro, they just wanted to take me to jail.
Because, they could have just charged you, right?
Yeah. Everybody trashes a hotel every once in a while.
It is true.
Sure, every person I've ever known.
It's like Wallach's cage. Very messy.
I remember how... incensed Zoe was when he found out or heard, I don't even know if it's true, but he heard that the guys in Rammstein made a mess of the dressing room at Gillette Stadium.
Uh-oh.
And how disrespectful that was. I'm like, well, number one, have you seen their show? Because they bring out like a 10-foot tall baby carriage and set it on fire. You might be more offended at that than them overturning a table and spilling some drinks in the crappy dressing room at Gillette Stadium.
Scott really feels like he's a part of that whole operation over there, huh?
Well, in a way, he is.
Yeah, I know he is, but it's like, but it's almost like he's like, hey, don't disgrace my property.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Right.
Like, who's playing here? Let me look over the rider and see if this is all okay. Like, I live like right by there, and I'm there.
I'll bring the green M&Ms if he really needs it.
I mean, let me check this rider. I mean, are there ladies of ill repute that are going to be around? Because I'm not having that. Like, take it easy on my dressing room.
What are they requesting ashtrays for? There's no smoking allowed in here.
Yeah, I mean, I live like down the street and occasionally work from there. I have a very intimate knowledge of the place.
Bro, I'm not wrong. Am I wrong, dude?
That was one of the funniest things ever.
I mean, I was talking about it the other day. I was like, bro, it was only $15,000. It wasn't like. That's what I'm saying. It's like not like you're not gonna pay. Like what? I don't understand why. No, it was sickening.
Yeah, there's a guy who's gonna have a lot of money. He's a professional athlete that's allowing people to stick drugs in him that he doesn't even know what they are, and then he is someone who's $15,000 in collateral damage is no big deal. He's going to be a boxer forever. All right, and finally, Hardy, what is here?
So here's a supercut of things happening at the table. He's drinking, which during a lot of these professional tournaments or where there's real money at stake, these guys won't, treat it like a night out at the casino. They actually take it seriously. No, he's going to chug a drink. At one point, he stands up and starts flexing, and, you'll hear him.
Is he going to chug that whole thing? All right. Only half.
$1,000 with nothing. That's beautiful.
A diamond would be insane.
Actually, it's like an angry Joe Murray. What do you think about that, Joe? You tell me.
I like pie.
Oh, you do. What sound do you make after you eat the pie? That's like Vern Troyer, but when he was peeing. Did you say the same thing, Dan?
Yes.
That's exactly like Vern Troyer when he was peeing.
And then I made the noise when he was driving along.
And they just kept filming.
Yep. Didn't interrupt.
Vern Troyer is Mini-Me from the Austin Powers movies, and he was on like Celebrity House. And the first night he's there, he has a beer, so in his little body, like it goes crazy. He died of like alcoholism, and he's in a corner going, and he's peeing himself, and the camera are just filming away. And then Peter Brady finally comes out. Hardy's friend Peter Brady finally comes out of the room. And he's like, "Ow!" And he's like, he's like a wet cat. Like he's like, yeah.
Sorry, I had Vern Troyer there for you.
Yeah, I know. I heard it.
That was good.
Go ahead. We all sat and watched this. It's just like, this is cool. This 2-foot tall guy's peeing himself because he's so wasted. How are they sure that Vern Troyer wasn't going to die? Like, you don't know what's going on in that body. Yeah. You're a little guy. It's like giving a baby a bunch of drinks. Seriously. Like, it's like, what would happen to a baby if you gave him, like, a bunch of drinks? That sounds really like Joe in the corner. Like, look at the little guy pee.
Is there a fart in a glass? And then he talked about the banana pudding.
That's when the end when he goes, is when Peter Brady tries to touch him. That's a grown man. Well, I mean, that's a man. That's an older gentleman. That's not a child. All right. And then Peter Brady's like, all right, someone's got to do something. And his reward is a wet cat scream.
But I'm different.
Damn. Low rolling him.
I'm gonna start twerking.
Garcia's.
Ooh, that's fast. I love Jesus, and I'm feeling great.
Are those pants just falling off?
I'm happy the money went to you. Thanks, bro. Because you have a lot of girls, and I do too. I'll start off like this.
Oh? Didn't like it?
Yeah.
All right, I don't even know what he's saying.
Well, his pants start falling down, and at some point he told Jimmy Butler, who's a big fan of him when he played with the Bulls, he said, "Thank you." And Butler says, "That was a long time ago."
Yeah.
And he says, "Who you play for now?"
That's the thing, is that celebrity poker lends itself to, because I imagine you're there for several hours, and if it's free drinks, it's certainly boring. So I would imagine just to kill the time, you're gonna get wasted. By the way, we didn't put that music in. That was VH1 going, you know what? This needs a little bass. What'd you do tonight? I watched TV. Oh, yeah? What did you watch? A documentary on PBS? No. There's a midget peeing. He's all drunk and he was peeing. And then the guy that played Peter Brady touched him. And he made that noise. What'd you do with your life? Well, I had a show that we cast this little fella on and got him all riled up on alcohol and watched him pee.
Did you ever fart in a glass and put a cover on it and then throw it in someone's face?
Joseph, how dare you?
Come on, Joe.
Joe, you're better than that. All right. Well, there you go.
I really.
We got a chance to play Vern Troyer on here.
Got a chance to play your Ryan Garcia, Vern Troyer, and
just empty
Joe
out
Murray.
that little screen over there, Hardy Scott.
All together, yeah.
Just keep the cameras rolling. No one step in. Nothing bad could happen here. Look, if it's Vince Neil, it's one thing. If it's Vern Troyer, you don't know the delicate nature. You don't know what's going on in that body. Wouldn't you want to go can someone make sure he doesn't die on camera?
Maybe we stop rolling for a second.
Yeah, just for a moment.
But you would have to think he was in some kind of serious distress, and I don't think you could make that assumption based on this.
He's got his penis out. He's urinating and making these noises. He does not care for Peter Brady. He's asking for Bobby. He does not want Peter at that point. He's like, your voice changed. You could barely get through time to change and rearrange. All right, we will be back in just a moment. We're going to do email, but also J.J. Redick, who's a real prick and is going to be a real failure as the coach of the Lakers. You watch. There is allegations that have come out against him. And I'm more interested in how anyone knows about it than I am in the actual allegations. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for
action simply never happened. Halima Nash, an author, speaker, and Duke alum, dropped the bombshell allegation on social media on Tuesday, claiming, "I've only been called the N-word to my face by a white man once in my life, and it was on the campus of Duke University while I was doing work for the basketball team. And today he was named the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a world." Reddick, the former college basketball superstar at Duke and 15-year NBA veteran and super genius, was introduced as the head coach. The allegation was posted on Nash's account at 9:10 a.m. on Tuesday, and as of the time of this post, it was viewed 10 million times. Now, she doesn't have a lot of followers. So my question is this, and it's an honest question. If you put something on Twitter, say you have like 4,000, 5,000 followers. How many followers does she have? Go to her Twitter.
Let's see. She has 4,500.
Okay, so say she had 4,500 followers. And so 45... the best case scenario is 4,500 people see that, which is unlikely that everyone would see everything everyone that follows you would see everything you post. How does that get that many million views? Like
23 and counting, 23 million.
Yeah, 23 million views. How does that happen? Like, who sees that, and how does it get into the hands of people where you and I see it? Like, isn't that weird? That it. I mean, whatever with the claim, I guess, sure. But, and I don't like Reddick, but whatever. It's, maybe he did. I mean, why would she lie? But maybe he didn't. Maybe she's getting a kick out of it. Maybe he was mean to her one time. I don't know. I'm just more interested by like someone with 4,500 followers now has something that is, that the coach has to respond to. Interesting, right?
Yes.
How do things go viral like that?
It is fascinating.
I'm very old.
There are so many people posting all sorts of absurd, crazy stuff online, and this thing got picked up.
I mean,
anyone can say anything about J.J. Reddick. Doesn't necessarily have to be her. I'm sure a lot of people did, but this got picked up.
Yeah, because you could just what is concerning about this in a way is that anyone could say anything about anyone, and then whatever algorithm kicks in, and the next thing you know, there's 25 million people talking about it.
No way
and now
to
you're the
prove
guy
it.
that said the N-word.
There's no way to prove it. She says on her profile here on Twitter that she did go to Duke.
No, she's a Duke alum. They've vetted her. She's a Duke alum, so she's an intelligent young lady.
All right,
no question about it. She went to Duke, and everyone's very proud that went to Duke. Cadillac, we understand.
Yes,
we understand that you went to Duke. You could have had a job at the big station in New York, but you stayed at Duke. I follow him on Facebook.
Huh.
But nice. I'm just interested that you can just make a claim like that, and the next thing you know, I'm at a press conference talking about someone saying I said the N-word 15 years ago. Very interesting. But this is just a precursor. Be careful what you wish for, J.J. Reddick, because I think your life is to get a lot more interesting than just doing a podcast and act like a prick to people. Now you're really going to be under the microscope.
Somewhat insular, sitting with LeBron James and talking about, sets, out of bounds sets.
And knowing what I know about the internet, Mies thinks that there are people going to be hunting for other times he said the N-word, and perhaps there will be some people willing to say he did. So I have a feeling that this isn't just going to go away. Yeah. And then people are going to have to start vouching for him, and it's going to become a whole thing.
Perhaps if you acted a little less pompous, it might have gone a little easier.
I don't think it helps.
Yeah.
I certainly don't think it helps. He's a very arrogant individual, and not for good reason. He's a dummy, as far as I'm concerned, a social dummy at least. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Reddick said obviously that no, it never happened, and Halima did add another statement to the initial thing that said it was years ago. And I'm a believer that we all have space to grow, especially from our college level maturity. We live in a world where these exchanges happen, and the intersection of race and privilege and lack of accountability all collided with that presser.
I
don't know. I don't know.
Wait, so she doesn't think, she thinks he's grown past it. She just wanted everyone to know it happened?
Yes.
So she's like, hey, look, I'm going to throw this thing out there. I want you to react to it, and then I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So don't.
For context, this was years ago, and I'm a believer that we all have space to grow, especially from our college level maturity.
Well, that was obviously your belief when you put that out there, is that you wanted it to have context. There's no context on the internet. Hoodie Blazer has context.
Sure.
If you don't know, I was at Mike Gorman's last night as the big night at the Garden, and I was invited by Mike Gorman and by myself, and I showed up wearing a blazer with a hoodie connected to it, almost a Dickie hoodie.
Yeah.
And I had a baseball cap on. It was a day Celtics game, and these two,
which somehow explains the fashion choice. The fact that it was in the daytime.
Well, you made fun of the hat, and I'm like, well, it was during the day.
It was a Detroit hat at a Celtics game.
It was a Detroit baseball cap. It's a different sport.
No.
Riz says, your boy Riz, you already know I appreciate the shout-outs. You're always looking out for your boy. You know how we do, Fred, man. They stay trying to keep us down. We rise up like the Phoenix. You look good, Fred. Take a look in the mirror and trust me. Black don't crack. Keep doing what you're doing, baby. You see the support I have from the black community?
Look at you.
Yeah. You guys seem like
Man of
real
the people.
fools.
Yep.
You feel like fools.
Just telling Hardy that. Just telling Hardy that. I feel like a fool, Hardy. That's because Fred is beating me down.
Mm-hmm. Someone says, Don from Carver, remember your friend who threatened me on the
yeah.
show?
He said meet him in the parking lot.
Dennis says, late to the party, but is Don from Carver an evil version of Mark Gemelli?
Oh, yeah.
Evil Mark Gemelli?
Yeah, instead of collecting recliners, he collects the souls of his victims. Yes.
I was reminded by a listener that Meatballs in Manhattan's was 5 years ago yesterday.
Remember that, Nick, when your dad made out with Saugus' own Tyler Faith, the porn star? Your dad, the man whose loins you came from, was making out with her. And now she's engaged to a Hell's Angel, I've been told.
I hate this. I hate everyone. I hate everybody here. I hate you. I hate Fred.
Yep.
It's true. A lot of people are talking about Shifty Shell Shock. LeBron James Trump. I do think that LeBron James and Donald Trump have a lot in common.
Yeah.
You know, like when Trump was selling the Bible, he was like, I love the Bible. I love all the parts of the Bible, the beginning, the end. It's all great. Obviously, he's never read the Bible. But then you had LeBron James talking about chess, though I thought a fun game would be, is it LeBron James pretending to know about something or Trump pretending to know about something?
Play a lot of chess.
Move me on to any black square.
Not in real life.
So you don't play a lot.
That'll never get boring to me.
It's the dumbest.
Play a lot of chess. I've never played chess. Not in real life.
No.
He's like a fool that everyone sits around and just lets him make a fool of himself.
A fool that's dangerous because people listen to him and actually believe him.
But it's almost mean that no one's going like, dude, like stop doing this stuff.
Yeah,
like you're an
exactly.
idiot. Like I'm really good at chess. Now I've never played. It's like it's something out of Game of Thrones, like a young king.
Yeah.
Like walking around just like, I can walk on water. Sure you can, king. Hey, way to go.
Actually, a lot of people told me you should play chess because you'll be great. I've never played chess, but in my mind.
I think that was an interview with J.J. Redick, by the way.
Of course, because J.J. Redick's so smart.
I think that was J.J. Redick
He's
during
a
the
drilling
podcast.
idiot, too. J.J. Redick sitting across from him going, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Two morons. Two morons that think that they're the smartest people on the planet.
Well, J.J. Redick, he just wants to win.
I want to coach the team. I don't want to
Dunning-Kruger effect.
I don't want to dispel anything.
One thing about the internet is really making this Dunning-Kruger effect run wild. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of access to just sit there and pontificate on crap you have no idea what you're talking about. And J.J. Redick has been in this little NBA bubble, and now that he's got to step out into the real world.
Yeah, now it's entertainment. Now it's media market number 2. Now it's you're part of the number one of the top franchises in the history of the NBA.
Because he was a real douche at Duke, you'll recall, with his rapping and his poetry and everything else.
Oh yeah,
really
the poetry.
Bad poetry that he was very comfortable reading. He was very comfortable reading his bad poetry and acting like it was good He was another person. No one ever told him, slow down, fella. These are bad tattoos. Slow down with the poetry. Not so much. It's bad. Write all you want. Express yourself on the page. Don't share it just yet. You sound like an idiot. Don't tell people you're rapping, JJ. Save that for the shower. Let's not go crazy. You're not good at it. You're not going to be good at it. You're Fred Durst.
I have an email from Ryan. Is it just me, or does JJ Redick's voice sound like Scientology's Tom Cruise? I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Man. Matthew says, hey, guys, the first Saturday of every month, Home Depot does a kids' workshop where they have little kids build different things. Having Hardy explain to Kendra how to put one of these things together would be good stuff. Everyone's very excited. Do you have your 3 bets for the contest?
I do not. Because, I'm going to wait for the lines on Thursday. The lines move. I don't know what's going to be available and what's going to look good.
You can't do it like a 2027 future or anything. You can't do like the next Summer Olympics in 2000.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That would have been a really good idea.
Doesn't matter what the sports are.
Olympics.
They don't even have to bet the same sports. It can
No.
Sports.
It's just 3 bets, and then whoever does the best. And if a tie goes to Kendra.
What?
Absolutely. Why not?
So if they both get 2 out of 3, he loses?
Absolutely.
No, the tie means nothing happens.
Chivalry, yeah, and then we just do it. We push it back another week.
All right. Well, I'll keep doing bets. I'd rather keep doing more bets than actually have to fulfill either side of that bet.
You're going to have to figure out where you and Kendra are going to film stuff guys send to me on the internet as a female.
Oh yeah, I'll be a big part of the planning of this and a catalyst to make sure it happens. No, unless I'm told what.
Well, I would like you did it at her house.
Well, that's certainly 100%.
But you put your foot down and
not
said
going
no.
to happen.
Maybe you could do it like in a cool car.
Maybe we could do it at work since this is a work thing, and I'll be at work, and we can do it at work.
No. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not intimate enough.
I don't.
Why are you afraid to be outside of the station with her?
What is
you BMX?
What does the intimacy have to do with any of this?
That you guys are getting to know each other. That's the whole point of this. Intimacy is the main point of this.
Do you know me?
I think I know you a little bit.
Okay, and how have you gotten to know me? In my home?
Oh, I mean, over the course of decades, though, this has got to happen quick. I want this lickety-split. I mean, we don't have 20 years to play with here.
Well, you don't have
20 years of.
You don't have any chance of getting me.
You've been to my home. You've been to my home in both my homes.
Yes, I've invited you to mine, but you have refused.
I've refused. I had the children.
I told you bring the children.
Yeah, and they're gonna go like, oh, hooray! They're my daughter is 13.
I got toys there.
Okay.
They're a little self-conscious, you know. You got an older girl there. I think they're both self-conscious.
I forgot about JJ Redick's poetry. Oh.
Yeah, bad.
Oh,
not good.
Let's kick it.
I can't see what my future has in store, but I move forth with the strength of a condor. A sharp thorn once cut my soul. I asked the Lord, what am I to do?
All right, stop.
He said, son, the rain falls because of me. Leaves change colors on a fall tree. I was the inspiration to Martin Luther King. I'm the reason Ray Charles can sing. I've given strength to others through and through. And my son, I'll do the same to you.
Through and through.
Word to your mother.
That's just bad. Bad rhyming, bad poetry. In a southern accent. Where'd that go? Now he's that monotone affectation. All right. Well, tomorrow we'll find out in the 7 o'clock hour what the bets are between Kendra and Hardy. And then if Hardy wins, Kendra will go to a hardware store where Hardy will have a gift card, and Hardy can, Gran Torino style, explain to her everything that's going on.
Yeah, and along those lines, here's an email from Mike. Hey, Hardy, really love the show. Breathe new life in the morning. Dare I say, I think Fred seems happier. Just want to let you know, I'm on your side of the Hardy-Kendra bet discussion. I don't want to say anything mean about anyone here, except for you, Fred, who goes along with her shtick. He said, if I were you, I would pick the activity that would be most excruciating for her. Thank you, Mike, but if you're on my side, you would be on the side of no activity.
Wait, what does he suggest would be more boring for her? Like, we can't put her in danger. So what would be more boring than going to a hardware store with
He
you?
says that it's not only that, but then helping me with some home project. And now you've made it infinitely worse by extending the outing.
Maybe you should have a now you should
Gigantic mistake you just made.
Yeah, because then you can work as a team.
Why is it a mistake if I'm not going to do it, John?
What if you built an RC car, the Grasshopper? Oh, yeah. See, not so shabby now, huh?
Well, no, I was thinking because we have one right now. The boy and I share an RC car, but to have a second one,
yeah,
I just might do that on my own. I thought about it at the time. I said, no, we'll just buy the one.
Maybe you guys could go to a hobby shop. That's pretty boring too. And then you could go buy something, and then you guys could put it together.
The hobby shop that I went to down in Foxborough, there was a guy down there who didn't work there, but you would think he did because he was just wandering the aisles and giving you advice on things that you were looking at.
Yeah, anything goes at the hobby shop. Same thing happened to me at the prosthetic penis distillery.
Distillery?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what they call them.
Okay.
I was walking around. He's like, what's that, the King Kong? I was like, yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. Me, more medium. What he was saying to me. Mm-hmm. All right. We'll be right back with the stack. Everyone's very excited.
There was a horrible accident in Rhode Island, and we have footage from a car that was driving through the aftermath of that accident. You're going to want to hear it.
I do want to hear it. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headline. list from the show. It's time for The Stack
On Rhode Island. Rhode Islanders love their calamari, but this squid was way underdone. A vehicle lost all or part of its load on Route 1 in North Kingstown on Friday, coating the road with squid and liquid. All 3 lanes were covered in pink goo. Just north of where traffic from Route 138 and Newport enters the highway.
Pink goo.
Somebody was driving along and decided to start recording what they saw and, well, smelled.
You see any squid yet?
Oh, yeah, Squidworth right here. Oh.
All right, we got Rhode Island problems here. about
couple hundred yards.
A couple hundred yards
At
of the
least.
calamari.
Oh, calamari!
Yards of calamari.
Fried calamari.
Calamari.
Fried calamari. It's calamari, so you got to go a little calamari. Fried calamari.
Robert Kelly does a bit. I mean, before I heard the bit, I think the DA thing predates the Robert Kelly bit, so we weren't stealing from Robert Kelly's. Like, you ever have a douchey friend? You go to an Italian restaurant, and they're like, "Hey, how's everyone doing?" Yeah, like, what will you have? Like, no.
The mozzarella.
The mozzarella. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll have. I'll be having the mozzarella.
Couple hundred yards.
A couple hundred yards
At
of the
least.
calamari.
At least.
All over the road. All over the road.
That's disgusting.
Smashed up. Up around the corner, we're going to have banana peppers probably. Yep. Oh, yeah, that's definitely calamari.
Banana pepper.
Up around the corner, we're going to
usually
have
serve
banana
them. They
peppers.
put those in with the calamari. You see.
Banana peppers.
And then he talked about the banana pudding.
Banana peppers. Banana peppers.
Banana pudding. Banana peppers.
Remember, 2 seconds ago when the guy was on, remember he talked about banana peppers? So what was on the road? Calamari. Yeah, okay, thanks. Hey, remember when that guy just talked about the calamari?
Fried calamari.
When DA did that, that was something else. Thank you to the Andelmans. They said, we have so much B-roll of this jackass. I love DA, too. But he is really putting on a show. They're like, what? They go, what would be like a good baseball? Like some ridiculous concept. Like, what would be a good menu items like for a baseball team? He's like, and then they're like, DA just was like, all right, here we go. I'm going to be ripping it up for you. And they're like, oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. The honey.
Yeah. He's like eating buffalo wings in like calamari. And he's
Fried calamari. It's calamari, so you got to go a little calamari. Fried calamari.
You can get it at Red Lobster,
thing.
dude.
It was a Patriots thing. Wes Welker was like the calamari, and Brady was like another dish.
No need to say calamari. They serve it at Red Lobster. Like it's enough. This is not some crazy thing that you're putting in front of me. Some, from the depths of the Nile.
It's not like
Brisket.
No, it's nothing good like that.
No, it's not.
And then the bacon on top, that's moss going deep.
No, it's not, DA. You misstepped there. But DA's got a national show now. Who am I to judge? DA's a good guy. I like DA.
So
he's got a good show.
Somebody threw up on the mound last night. You were watching this game, Fred?
I was watching the game, but I did not see the guy throwing up on the mound. I was watching it because my son was over and he wanted to watch left-handed pitchers.
What was it? Reds, Padres?
Reds, Pirates. 2 errors by the center fielder in consecutive innings. And not throwing errors either.
Yeah, Hunter Green on the mound.
Lots of extra base hits. With that, almost half of the hits.
Whoa. Hunter Green just got sick.
Just say it, dummy.
After that pitch.
It's a terrible pitch.
I don't know why they're so afraid of everything. Like, he vomited. He just vomited on TV. You can't say vomited. He vomited. He vomited liquid. He's obviously hungover. He vomited. He was hungover. What it looks like to me is he was hungover and he chugged a bunch of water because he was dehydrated.
Yep.
And then he did too much. And then he got all amped up when he got on the mound.
It all came back at once.
And the adrenaline matched with the cortisone from the hangover, and then the two things clash. The next thing you know, you're projectile vomiting. He probably felt fantastic afterwards. But I imagine to projectile vomit like that, and I guess it's not the first time it's happened.
No.
You see any squid yet?
Oh, yes.
No, not that.
Okay.
Have you seen any squid? Yes, I have been combing. Yes, I've been combing through the vomit. I can tell you what he's had to eat, and there is shellfish.
No, he talked about it afterward, how it's happened before.
I did the opposite this time, trying not to have the same result as last time. You know, I'm not going to sit here and make a big deal out of it because I don't think it's a big deal. But there's stuff that I'm going to take some pills and stuff like that to help with my stomach and just hope it goes away. Nobody goes out there and throws up and then, you know what I mean? It's not like part of a routine. It's not part of anything. Right. So it's going to throw.
Well, what? I take issue with
you know
that.
what I mean? It's not like part of a routine. It's not part of anything. Right.
Sure it is. Steamin' Willie Beeman threw up before his first couple of starts. The Sharks, they went out. They made the playoffs, I think, didn't they?
Yeah,
yes, they did.
Yeah.
Willie Beeman led into the second
good
round.
Good old Willie Skeeman used to take a dump on the mound. He would be so nervous.
Willie Steeman?
Yeah. Willie Steeman used to go out there and just pull his trousers down and take a dump.
But he planned to do it, so they called him Scheeman Willie Steeman, because that was his plan all along.
That's true. And then when he went to the Indians,
played for
they
Cleveland.
called him Cleveland Willie Steeman.
Played for Cleveland.
Damn it. Cleveland Scheeman Willie Steeman.
That was a happy accident, by the way. I wasn't clever enough to say Steeman on purpose. That was just an accident. I have to call myself out for that.
So it's going to throw you off. It's going to mentally, you're going to be thinking about that a little bit more than making pitches. So you just try and do your best, I guess, in that situation to flip your mindset and just try and focus on, you know, what you need to do. And it's not easy, but I wasn't coming out of that game, and I knew I wasn't. So I just had to try and, you know, make do with it.
And then he talked about the banana pudding. Oh.
This is the wrong time to do that show. We are in cruise control, baby. So every moment I can play. If you're a listener and want something on the air, this is the time to email these next 2 days.
Yeah, because if all Joe Murray does is say,
Girlfriend, things that make you go. Things that make you go. Things that make you go.
I like pie.
it'll make it on the show.
And then he talked about the banana pudding.
If I'm Joe, I'm using that tonight. That one's like a nice one. Brian, go ahead.
Morning, guys.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
I got a real good friend who was on the Twins, and when he was warming up to go into the game, it was like his second appearance. The camera zooms in on him, vomits all over the mound.
Was it because he was nervous? Was it because he was sick, or was he hungover?
No hungover. He was amped up, nervous, adrenaline kicks in, figuring out, hey, in 1 minute I'm actually going to be on an MLB mound and all these front of these people. And it was just nerves. It wasn't hungover or anything like that. But it's funny, the camera was watching him warming up, and then boom.
Yeah.
He just puked all over the mound.
Yeah. Did you see it? Did you happen to be watching it?
Yeah.
Oh, you had to love that. You had to be like in heaven.
On like Sports Center, honestly.
What's your friend's name?
Ooh, Ryan O'Rourke.
Yeah, Ryan O'Rourke. Yeah. I just was told that. But yeah, so you had to be thrilled. I would have been very, very thrilled. I would.
We were dying. I was dying.
Yeah, that's a best case scenario. Because A, you want your friend to be in the major leagues because it's cool, and then B, though, you don't want him to get too high on himself. So have vomit before it. It's a best case scenario for you. Thank you, Brian. Yes.
Throw up is good?
Throw up was very good.
Whoa. What the hell is that?
Yes.
Is there anything he has not said on that show regarding stomachs? My God. It's a library of everything. You'd think that was AI.
I called it the McMurray burger.
Yeah, I know what that is. That's what he.
Do you ever fart in a glass and put a cover on it and then throw it in someone's face?
The aroma. Oh, boy. NPR
We got our beefs, bro.
NPR. All they're talking about is the trial.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Brown sugar. Casserole dish with almonds.
Ay. All right, very good. Thank you all. It is.
Let's meet back here tomorrow, huh?
All right.
Yeah. Cleaning lady was supposed to come at 8:30. She hasn't come yet.
Oh, bougie.
Yeah.
I clean my own house. Only takes me an hour.
I don't really know how at a certain point to clean the house. There's a point where my expertise on cleaning, like mirrors, I don't know how to properly clean a mirror without streaking. So I don't know how to keep my pants on.
There's stuff that may not be that new, but I've only been made aware of in the last year or so. It's like a foaming glass cleaner. You spray it on there. Yeah, that stuff is magic. But I don't do the mirrors in the house. I do it in my car.
Well, your wife works. I would imagine you have a cleaning lady that comes to
every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks? Same with me.
Yeah.
I helped her bring in the vacuum the last time I showed up. I did. Didn't have to. I could have just said, I'm paying you. You carry it.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
I like that.
And way to take the credit for my good deed. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a fantastic day. Bye.